The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions.
Panther fans unite! My name's Tony Dunn. Cody Lashney, how you doing? CK's in the house. How you doing, my friend? The Stat Daddy.
But I think Derek Brown, hey man, he deserves that dab on him pick.
Dab on him, Phil Snow. Dab on him.
All the same, yeah, 100%. We can just
Mine is going to go to the fullback. I'm going to dump on the Richie guy. Dab on him, Shaq.
I'm going to put the towel on Matt Rule.
Y'all took all the good ones.
Only one postgame roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers postgame show.
It's another week where the Carolina Panthers offensive line looks like a sloppy drunk getting whooped up in a bar fight, who then is embarrassed and goes home and domestically beats his wife, Bryce Young, in the back because he's embarrassed and terrible at his job, and then wakes up in the morning and realizes he's a 33-10 loser. And the Carolina Panthers have lost again. They fall to 1-9 on the season. And this pains me to say this, but we got to do this 7 more times this season, guys. Holy cow, you're listening to the C3 Panthers post-game show. We're here. We call it therapy at this point. We'll accept your copays. The way you can submit your insurance to the C3 Panthers podcast is by smashing the thumbs up button, subscribing, or calling into the Cat Calls line, 252-228-5098. This is your opportunity to tell the world, to tell David Tepper, to tell other Panther fans how you feel. And I'm pretty sure it's not that great at the moment. But what is great is sharing my misery, sharing my sorrow with my homeboy, Cody Lashney. How are you?
Tony,
actually, what the fuck am I asking? Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, I always show up. Unlike the Panthers offensive line, I always show up. C3 Panthers podcast always shows up. Listen, man, this might make a few people mad. 2 things can be true at the same time. One, Bryce Young is not the biggest problem on the Carolina Panthers offense, and not by a long shot. But the other truth is, it is absolutely time to bench him in favor of Andy Dalton, because now you are risking his long-term health and his eligibility as a franchise quarterback in the NFL by leaving him out to die behind this fucking offensive line, dude. It's embarrassing. The whole organization should be embarrassed. Look, there was a time in the fourth quarter where we were only losing by 10 points. It's hard to even say, like, we were in this game for a good majority of the game. And then, Bryce gave the ball away 2 times. That sealed it for the Dallas Cowboys. It was absolutely embarrassing today, man. Hey, man, we're happy to have you all here. We're happy to be a part of this therapy session for you. We're in this together, man. Hit that like and subscribe, and let's do it, y'all.
CK, the Panthers continue to struggle to score points or really do anything that is positive, where every time you see one moment where something can go okay, maybe that's a Miles Sanders run for a first down. Maybe that's 3 fourth down conversions on the longest drive in the history of the world, it feels like. It takes the Panthers 72 hours to score 2 touchdowns. It took them 14 hours to score 1 touchdown in this game. Anytime that happens, something immediately follows that seems soul-crushing. Another pick six. And really a fumble by Bryce Young in this, just murderer's row for him. And while I'm not using that to say that to start on a negative note about Bryce, what I am saying is there's nothing that the Panthers do that's good.
No.
Listen, I agree. I think that when we look at a lot of people are going to try to hang their hat on holding Dallas to 10 points in the first half. This team would have held them to a lot less had this defense not completely failed and had horrible discipline in a lot of different ways. Also, they were letting these really long drives just continue. They weren't letting big plays happen for the most part, but that's a problem. You have the offensive line causing issues, and yeah, Bryce Young wasn't an elevator today either, right? I think that there is so much wrong with this team. One of the things that I said even before we traded up for Bryce Young, I said we have a distinct history of buying high and selling low on quarterbacks. Right now, it feels like that's the case. I am still not on the Bryce is a bust, but Bryce didn't deserve to be traded up to the number 1 overall pick and give away what we did. We have been a franchise under Fitterer who has gotten rid of who number 1 traded for Darnold, gave him a 5th-year option with no evidence that he was deserving of a 5th-year option. We have him then trade for Baker Mayfield. That didn't work out. Then we have just a constant cycle of quarterbacks. Then you make the decision to trade away Christian McCaffrey for basically peanuts. With now, if anybody were to trade for him from 49ers, they'd be having to get a first-round pick at least to be able to get that guy from their hands, right? But now you talk about trading away DJ Moore. I mean, we have done everything in our power to make this franchise worse, it seems, than it has. And this is different than what we thought the beginning of the year was going to be, right? We're not the experts. We're not a GM. We look at this, as we said, we're fans from the outside looking at this, from rose-colored glasses, like most NFL teams fans are going to. Every year, every NFL team believes, oh, we're going to the Super Bowl this year. We thought that we were going to be at least a much better team than we have been. And clearly that hasn't been the case. And that can only fall back on one person right now, one person alone. And that is Fitterer. And I am not here celebrating the fact that this guy is potentially going to be without a job, right? That's not the place that I have. But I guarantee you do this for 4 years and your current employer, you're going to have a conversation about what's the future of your position in the organization. This is just ineptitude at its highest. And right now we just got to hold somebody accountable, and it's got to be Fitterer at this point in time.
There's no reason for anyone to have a job. Let's just put it that way. You could say, and not you, but like you said, is like cheering for someone's firing is some ways feels kind of cringy in a way.
We also have press conferences if you want it.
But nobody is going to feel sorry for us if we get fired tomorrow. And nobody's going to feel sorry for these guys when they get fired. The number's 252-228-5098. Let's open up with a couple of calls real quick, Cody, and then we'll pull up a presser, okay?
Yep.
And let's see. I want to thank Nervosh for the $5 love bomb. Total record for pick six is Jameis Winston in 2019 with 7 thrown that year. Bryce has 4 right now. I know Kev said 1 more, and it sets the franchise record for it. And shout out to Roosevelt Mungo, 6 straight David Tepper losing seasons. This is brutal, and the Panthers are really good at being bad. Cody, let's take a couple of calls now.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
Well, and I'm walking back home, or walking back to my car. I just got off fucking work.
JJ.
And fucking damn it. I know I was being a big old fan on the free for all and spaces and shit, but I texted my friend yesterday who's a Cowboys fan, and me and him are going to a Titans game in Tennessee next week. Shout out my friend Caden, who's a Cowboys fan. I texted him yesterday, though. I said, if I was a betting man, I bet the over on 0.5 pick sixes by Deron Bland. And it was crazy because it didn't happen. But I was like, oh shit, we got some momentum. We got a touchdown. I thought just maybe we could get one stop. They got a touchdown. We got the ball. I'm watching the phone. I'm watching the game on my phone at work. And I'm thinking to myself, damn, that Deron Bland pick six is due. Bryce Young, he was like, you know what? We'll make sure that shit happens. Because he is so ass sometimes. Bryce Young, it is a little bit of a problem that he can't always hit the guy who's open on every play, because he'll throw it to a guy because he'll already have his mind set on who he's gonna throw to, and he doesn't have the arm talent to just put the ball where he wants it, wherever he wants it, and when he wants it. He doesn't have that kind of arm talent. He doesn't throw it to whoever's open on every play. He doesn't he just can't throw people open either. It just fucking sucks. I get it, Bryce Young's situation is horrible, but it sucks that Bryce Young also can't make a throw off his back foot. It also sucks that he needs a clean pocket every play. And he was able to make some plays on the run today, but it's just frustrating watching this offense. How we have to go 20 plays to fucking score on the Cowboys. 20 fucking plays in a drive. What the fuck, Frank Wright? I get that's what you want to do, but for fuck's sake, that's an issue. And basically, the Panthers fucking suck. I wish we won. Now my friend's gonna rub it in my face, but hopefully we win next week, because that's the goal. All right, we're 1-9. We assured ourselves a losing season again. What is that? The 6th straight? Poverty. All right, we're fucking poverty. We need to get our shit together after we fire Frank Wright and Scott Fitter this off season. All right, and we're gonna win next week, 2-9. Please, I need my first W in person. All right, keep on it.
Thanks, Brandon. Was it Brandon Sampson for his super chat? He says, I'm now looking forward more to the podcast than the games, fellas. Our offensive line is so bad, I don't think anyone can succeed. Thank you, Brandon, for the $4.99 donation. I'm glad someone's looking forward to the post-game shows, because I don't know if I necessarily am all the time. JJ, some good points in there, and Bryce Young just getting murdered back there today. The offensive line is so bad. I don't know why it's even so bad. I don't even know how it can be so bad. I don't even know how you can be an NFL team, and this is the most talent deficit team I've ever seen for the Carolina Panthers.
I was about to ask, do you think this is the worst offensive line that we've had in the past? Dude, I think since I've been a fan, it's probably the worst I've ever seen it.
I think it's hard to argue otherwise.
Bradley Bozeman got pushed on his fucking ass like a 4th grader, dude. Bradley Bozeman has been a liability.
Side mollywop in that one play that was just unfair.
DeMarcus Lawrence just came in and just
what else he said they do that usually on run plays where they try to knock these guys off, and poor Bradley just sitting there, boom.
He just got taken out of the play immediately.
By the way, I'm pretty sure DeMarcus Lawrence is 50 pounds less than Bradley Bozeman.
That would just.
I want to hear it.
Yeah, pull it up. I really don't, but yeah, why not? You've brought it up twice, so I think you want to hear it.
I sure fucking do.
It's a great play, and again, for me, obviously, you got to make a better decision, better throw. So that's on me. And then also, again, good play, but obviously can't make that happen. So
appreciate you calling for purple.
Tempo early in the games is something you guys
talk
about throughout the week, and how comfortable are you doing that not only late game but in game? That's true. I'm sorry. Was there a question? I don't know. With your tempo offense going a little more no huddle early on and going kind of up tempo, is that something you're more comfortable with doing in the middle of games instead of just having maybe a late drive where you have to do it? Have you had time to talk with coach about that?
It's all about film. You go in with a plan. You go in you talk about how you're gonna attack the game, and then again it's based off of film and how things are going. So you can't really go into games of we're gonna do this the whole time. We're gonna do obviously you have a you have a game plan. You have stuff you can control the initial thoughts, but after that, I trust Coach Reich, trust his feel, and that's just how it's going to be moving forward.
Bryce, that's a really good defensive front. How much did the consistent pressure make it hard to get in any kind of rhythm offensively?
Really good defense, really good defensive front, like you said. Obviously it's not the it's tough, but that's no excuse. There's things that I definitely can do better. Things that as an offense, again, that's a really good defense, but we're striving, pushing to be, we want to be a great offense. Obviously we know we have a ways to go. We have to keep building. We have to earn that right. But it's NFL. We're competitors. There's no excuse. First and foremost, again, I have to be better regardless of what's going on around me. I have to be able to control what I can control, make sure we're managing stuff, make sure that, still try to find positives. And again, we all take that mindset as a unit. Obviously we want to make sure that there's going to be great units. There's going to be great players against NFL. There's always going to be something good on the other side of the ball. That we can't let that hinder our execution. So we have to improve on that.
Right, Frank said you're built to handle stuff like this. What makes you built to handle stuff like this? And do you ever anticipate stuff like this?
First and foremost,
after Dave Newton will shut it off
through ups and downs.
And can he clean those little? These stray hairs always kind of bug me.
I believe God.
It reminds me of dust hanging off of like a broom.
Sure what happens, that's out of my control. I trust God through everything. I lean on my faith, lean on my teammates, lean on the coaching staff. And of course.
And I talk to my dad a lot.
I wish he would go back to the when he twisted his hair up.
For me to know, not for me to.
I thought that was dope.
I lean on my faith, leaning on the guys in there.
I lean into these M&Ms right here.
And, we have to take it for what it is and figure out a way to make it positive and keep building off of
it. Was it going silent count at home?
All right, last one.
How strange was it going silent count at home?
Obviously different. Cowboys fans, they travel well, so respect to them for that. But again, it's a circumstance. We do that half the year anyway. It is what it is. Again, it's a circumstance that we have a ton of snaps.
It is what it is. That's Bryce Young's good phrase. You can probably rewind to get to the right one.
I mean, you could. My thought is, I just wish he would say what he wants to say. He keeps on getting close, and then he backtracks and said, "I got to be better. I got to be better." Like, I just wish he would say the thing that we all know is true, and that is, I have to play better, but so does everybody else on this offense. And he just refuses to. And I get that you want to take accountability, but I feel like a leader isn't just somebody who continues to just exist in the exact same situation. I think there has to be some ball breaking, and I think Frank Reich needs to do it. I think in against Bryce Young, I think that Bryce Young needs to be able to acknowledge that it's not only him; it's this entire team that needs to work harder. That needs to find a way to make things work when odds are not going in their favor. It's just an absolute. I get that they're taught that, but I don't feel like a good leader, even though he does a lot of things that you want a good leader to do, like having these meetings with the offense and what have you. I don't think that a good leader just sits back and says, "It's all me."
Yeah, I mean, this is the whole reason I can't even be like, why listening to these things is even interesting to me. It's like
it's no benefit to it.
And what can you truly even say at this point? I mean, I would just go up there and say, "We suck. We suck. Yeah. This is the worst fucking football team I've ever seen." And you know what it's crazy that the guys are out there still kind of playing hard in some cases, but I think everybody from Frank Reich to the players look defeated.
Yeah, but again, I mean, the defense for most of this game, they kept us in the game
until they do dumb shit.
Yeah, but again,
Sean Williams.
But the margin of error is so small when your offense can't move the ball 5 fucking yards in 3 downs.
But that's how it's been all season, Cody. And that's actually our team. The margin has been so small, period, with the talent we have on the team. You know what I'm saying? With all the newness of the play. We weren't ever going to be in a luxury position to make mistakes. And that is turnovers. That goes all over the place. Yeah.
I mean,
and so
we got to think about how many drive ending penalties we have. You know, like it just not even drive continuing on the defense, drive ending. How many times on 3rd down and short we got a false start, right? Like there's only, I know, again, Greg would go crazy if you were here. Like there is a large part of what we're seeing with the lack of execution and the absolute horrible ability to not be having stupid penalties. It falls on coaching. Like this is clearly not a well-coached team. Like I love a lot of the players on this team, and honestly, like a few people I love Frankie Louvu.
Many players on this team.
I love Frankie Louvu. I mean, there's some people I like. JJ Jansen, right? I mean, there's some people on this team that I think are good players that are in a really bad situation. And right now, I as a Panthers fan who loves these players in a lot of ways, like I'm just like they need to go somewhere else. Like this isn't it.
The only player that I love is Frankie Louvu. And then that's probably, I don't know. That's probably
my favorite player on the team right now is Johnny Hecker.
Yeah.
How about that? I mean, but like, I don't love anybody on this team. I mean, yeah, I mean, Louvu's a fun story. It's hard for me even to love him at this point because nothing good is happening.
Right.
No.
You know, you're like, I mean, I do. I think I think he is playing incredible. I think he's probably the best player on the football team right now. Him and Derek Brown, I guess.
Who was it that you said? Who's the first one?
Who? Frankie Louvu is the best player on the team.
Oh, and Brady Christensen. I love him and I miss him.
But he's not playing. Yeah. So I don't know how this team is this bad. And I don't know how no one is any good. Like, it is just pathetic.
Can we say this? If Fitterer is not fired this week, if I'm not going live sometime this week to do a reaction stream to Scott Fitterer being fired, then I can't lie on this podcast and tell any fan that they should have hope for anything to change anytime soon with this organization. I mean, you move up for an undersized quarterback that is supposed to be light years ahead of everyone else in terms of reading the field. And every single game, he is missing wide open wide receivers. And by the way, don't get mad at me. I'm not making shit up. We literally do an all 22 film review on the channel every week where I display the amount of people that are open, and I'm showing people the offensive line is terrible, which is leading me to think that Bryce is playing a little bit shell-shocked. And listen, I don't even want to be too hard on the defense because considering all the players that were missing, like there's still no J.C. Horn. You don't have Jeremy Chin. There's no Shaq Thompson. Like everybody's just fucking hurt all the time, and yet they're still keeping us in ball games. This is the most inept offense that I think I have ever laid my eyes on watching an NFL game. And I've seen some bad ones, dude. We've all seen some bad ones.
We've had some bad ones.
But if this doesn't rank up there with the worst that you've ever seen, bro, your time watching ball goes back far before mine.
All right, let's take another call.
Yo, what up? I had to get 2 scoops this week because I'm going to the game next week, like I said in my last call. So I wanted to say, this is as long as the Panthers win, you know. Unlikely scenario already. But if the Panthers manage to get a win on the road next week against the Tennessee Titans, I do want to say, Tony Dunn, I know I was able to butter you up last week a little. with the whole shouting you out because, yeah, I mean, like, it's well deserved. You deserve as much credit as you do deserve for 10 years straight, as you always say. And I've noticed that, like, ever since I caught on to the train in like 2020, that you're legit, and you guys are legit with the podcast. You guys always have kept it legit. I noticed as soon as y'all cussed a lot that y'all were just more for the fans than for the money or whatever. But anyways, I wanted to say, if the Panthers win next Sunday, that, you know, I need you to make I need y'all to bring the juice next week, basically, because y'all always be saying this. Y'all want to make the podcast about when you envision it for when you are at the game and you are all with the boys driving home back from the game after a Panthers game. And next week will be my first game of the year. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go to the Texans game, but I'm trying to be a Panther fan in enemy territory. I'm trying to represent. I'm trying to see a
Good for
W.
you, man. It's gonna be
See my
tough.
first W in person. You know, I'm 0-2. Lost to the Browns in 2018. Lost to the Bengals last year. Good God, that was awful watching. I knew from the first run when we let up 10 yards, we were cooked. I was like, oh fuck. It's gonna be one of those
JJ,
games.
we're waiting
And
on
I took it to the chin, and hopefully we can get a fucking win, and I don't have to go to 0-3. But I won't make it
thanks,
long.
man. Appreciate it, JJ. Well, we hope you have a good time at the game. Good for you. This is why you buy your tickets early, and this is why I never buy my tickets early, because now you're like, oh shit,
right?
I gotta go. Imagine if you
bought a season tickets before the year.
Yeah. Or if you bought a road, you know, you're like, oh, I want to go on the road and see this matchup, and I'm going to spend all this money on the hotel and this and that. And you're like, oh God, I'm dreading this. You know, JJ, I hope that ride home from the game in this car, in the C3 car, is one that we don't have to cry about. But right now, these are those rides where I don't know. We're pissed. I don't even know. We're having to have road beers in the car. You're not supposed to do that, folks. But Lord, I don't know. That's a tough ride. And these calls, I think, are going to show it. Let's take another.
Yeah, Paisans, this fucking team, man. This fucking team gives me so much fucking agita. Yeah, this fucking Fugazi fucking team, all of them, just fucking tired of all of them. Tired of fucking eating a bottle of goddamn fucking Tums every goddamn Sunday. Yeah, it's the fourth quarter right now. Was it 33-10 or some shit? It was 17-10. I blinked and I was like, what the fuck just happened? Holy shit. Top to bottom, this team is fucking garbage, bro. Call fucking Waste Management. Get them out of here. All of them. I get my guy Joey numbers. Take out fucking David Tepper. All these fucking jabroni jerk-offs. Done. Done with this fucking bullshit
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's hard to even get mad now.
All right, I'm done.
Today I went to a local sports bar to watch the game because I was having some buffering issues, and I was like, I just couldn't watch. I was just like, man, I can't take this. Like, I was just getting annoyed. Greg Olson was saying something, then it would jump to the next play. So I go there, and I'm just by myself, drinking my soda water with lime. And it's just like, ugh. I mean, I wasn't even excited. You know, it's like, I mean, I was expecting that the team wasn't going to be able to perform well. But even when it was close, it didn't feel close. And so I had to meet a friend and pick up this T-shirt. And it was when the Tony Pollard run happened. And that Tony Pollard run happened, scored a touchdown, and then there's a flag, and they're like, it's coming back. And then I guess it didn't come back. As soon as that Tony Pollard went out, I was like, man, I'm going home. I ain't going to stay in this place no more. And by the time I walked to the car, I get in the car, turn the radio on because I had them playing on the radio, pick six. Like, I mean, this team is horrendous. And I mean, I almost feel bad for Frank Reich. I almost feel bad for Frank Reich because this team is just bad. And yeah, you know what? It falls on him. it goes up, right? Is the shit. I mean, we got to cut the head off the snake. There's no defending him keeping his job. There's no one defending anybody keeping their job, honestly. But God, this team is just trash.
They are, man.
Nobody's good.
And
Nobody's
by the way,
good.
how many ways every Sunday can we sit here and say everyone's trash?
We got to say it for 7 more weeks.
I know,
for
man.
7 more games.
It's embarrassing. And again, listen, we're all going to end up repeating ourselves multiple times on this podcast just because everything that there is to be said has been said a million times before. But, dude, the hill that I'm dying on, and I'm going to continue to bring it up, and I don't care who I start to annoy with it, it's time to bench Bryce Young. It's time to bench him. You are risking his future health by leaving him behind this dog shit O-line with a lame duck head coach and a lame duck general manager. What happens if there's another situation where he gets hurt at the end of the year and then he's going to end up missing time going into next season, even lessening the amount of time that you have to evaluate the quarterback that you traded Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, and the 2024 first overall pick to go and get? You have to bench him for his own health, for his own safety.
You have to protect your investment.
And how about for his own mental health? It's time to bench Bryce Young, man.
I was sort of split on this just a week ago when we were having the same conversation. I thought there were arguments for both sides, right? CK, I believe, weren't you in favor of sitting Bryce Young for protecting his health?
Yeah.
And then there's other people too, and I kind of have been of this, is I wanted Bryce Young to start this season. And even if it wasn't a good showing like this, for him to learn on the job, because that's where the real learning takes place. But after watching this week and really watching throughout the season, it's like, what are you learning? What can you learn other than to be bad?
Dude, you can't right now, there is no benefit to having him out there. Here's the thing.
I agree.
Your belief is that this guy can process the field. Number one, he doesn't have enough time. There's not many quarterbacks in the league that would succeed.
And even when he does have time, he's so fucking terrified that he doesn't have time because he's playing because he knows he's going to get murdered.
So he's not able to do anything but keep the field short because the time to throw the ball has to be so quick. He's not able to get through his progressions because of, some might be because of the pressure, but a lot of times it might be because he's feeling a fake pressure because of what he's used to all year. There's literally nothing that can positively help Bryce moving forward, keeping him out on the field. The only thing that could possibly help him is to see how a veteran would handle this type of a situation. And maybe that's something that could offer him a little more insight. Seeing how Andy Dalton handles a bad offensive line, how he's able to navigate and become a field general and call plays that are going to be able to dissect defenses potentially, right? When you see all-out blitzes, changing the play and making sure that it's a play that's going to be favorable for an all-out blitz as opposed to taking that sack. I think there's so much positive that can come out of seeing Andy Dalton take the reins of this offense than there is anything that positively could help him by keeping him out on the field at this point in time.
I think Cody's right though, is that even if I don't really believe that he's going to learn a lot just by watching CK, what we can't learn is him getting hurt.
No,
right? We can't afford that as an organization. Whether you think Bryce Young is good and could potentially be the Panthers' long-term solution at quarterback, whether you think he's bad right now, you have an investment at this moment with him that has to be protected. And and we know everybody's going to get fired. We know that. So, look, at the very minimum, you should give the new squad the chance to play with a quarterback that you spent all the assets on instead of blowing it up. And you would ultimately if he goes out there and suffers an ACL right now, the timeline for return, the developmental setback that will take him to, right? The lack of development he would have in the off season of continuing to work on his craft, to throwing, potentially getting a little stronger, you know what I'm saying? Like that will all be devoted to healing instead of the other thing. So terrible.
Before we go further, man, so let me make sure I get all of these. My man 89 J Subs has been a member for 5 months. We also have a brand new member. CK, you want to talk to this dude?
Sure. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, in the midst of a historically bad year for the Carolina Panthers, we still have some absolute legends coming in here and hitting that membership button there, becoming C3 Superfans. Kung Fu Purple became a YouTube member of the C3 Superfan Club. Thank you so much for joining.
And hey, by the way, man,
is that a Cowboy fan?
Look, man, shout out to the homie Vach Lombardi, man.
Oh.
I used to call into his show a long time ago. They would call me the Carolina Pimp over there. Shout out my man Vach. He's a great content creator. And welcome to all the Cowboys fans from Vach's show that are joining the stream. We appreciate it.
Come on in here. First is I like the Vach raid alone is not annoying. I generally find Cowboy fans to be some of the most difficult to be around here in Eastern North Carolina. And I was telling you, I was at this, and I didn't even you probably didn't even know I was a Panther fan other than today, I wore my oldest Panther shirt possible. It's like the 1996 shirt. This is old stuff right here. I was out low key, and this one guy was just a Cowboys fan. He was just cheering about everything. He was getting upset about everything, and I was sitting there, and I was just like, man, this is like a guy talking shit to somebody that's got cerebral palsy. You know, I mean, I just felt like it was just like, he's like, fuck you, get him. But I was just like, man, y'all know this is the worst team in the history of the fucking world. It feels like. But look, the Cowboys are a legit team, despite the Carolina Panthers being terrible, right?
Yeah.
The thing that sadly for the people that are Vach rating here, the Cowboys fans, is you're not going to hear a lot of kudos about how this team was a good team that beat the Carolina Panthers. Because regardless of how good or bad the team that we play is, we get beat like this every week.
Yeah.
And I mean, at the very end is that the Cowboys did whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted throughout this game. That defensive front, which is a really talented front, did exactly what it was supposed to do, what we anticipated it to do, and it probably did it even better than people, I guess, anticipate. They didn't have to blitz. They didn't have to do nothing. They just beat the shit out of the Panthers offensive line.
They also have one of the best players in football, Michael Parsons, dude, who was literally a blitz, literally going through our paper mache offensive line like it was absolutely nothing.
Well, they just lined him up in the spot that they wanted to attack every time. It's like, hey, you know what? It's third down. Put him over put him in the interior. Then it's like, hey, it's this different down. Put him over here.
Yeah,
they
man.
just used him like a surgical tool. And I can't tell you this, Cody, what makes me mad about that more than anything is I'm sitting there going, this guy could have been a Panther.
Oh, yeah, a lot of those players could have been a Panther. But also, shout out to DeMarcus Lawrence. Like I said earlier, made Bradley Bozeman just look dumb. Hey, man, they did their thing today. They're a legitimate contender, I feel, in the NFC, man, as much as it pains me to say. But, again, shout out to big homie Vach Lombardi, man. We appreciate any new viewers we got. Hit that like button and hit that subscribe if you're trying to hear some Panther content. But also every Friday at 7, you're allowed to come on the show and talk with us, man. Be a part of it. Real quick, these super chats I was trying to get to. You're only as good as your owner, as it shows in all NFL teams. Tepper's hundreds of decisions are catching up to the team. It's going to get worse. Jay Thomas with the $9.99 says the level of disrespect. Jerry Jones announcing their Ring of Honor on our field with our stadium with Cowboy fans. How do we allow this? I don't know, Jay. What are we supposed to do?
There's no way to. There's only one way to stop it, and that's to be good.
Tepper can't say anything. Like Tepper can't stop it because the reality is the Cowboys are a revenue generating machine. Like when you talk about the amount of people that are willing to pay a tremendous amount of money to come into the Carolinas, stay in the Carolinas to watch a team like the Cowboys come in for almost a guaranteed win, you're going to have people coming in troves, dude. Absolutely. One other piece to that I want to make, and I listen, I want to say I'm so happy that Tony Pollard got his touchdown, first touchdown he was able to score since the first week of the season. I've had him on my fantasy league all year, just waiting for another game of him to get a touchdown. And I knew this was the game to do it. He was able to come out and do it. I'm very happy that our defense has clearly got some issues. And so as of now, I think being a Panthers fan is a tough thing, but I am surrounded by Cowboys fans in my neighborhood.
You know, I would say the Cowboys didn't even play perfect today.
They didn't.
You know, they beat.
They didn't have to.
It's kind of like where you.
It was a 10-point game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but but did it ever feel close?
Well, no.
Like once you score that touchdown, first it's a 10-point game in the fourth quarter because it took you an entire quarter to score a touchdown. And this is how every touchdown drive has been for the Carolina Panthers this season. Remember it's like 95 yards, but it takes 12 minutes. So, I mean, it was just like this, is that once they got the ball back, you're like, oh, I mean, we're going to have to try to get the ball back again and do another 10-minute drive. It never felt. Did you believe at any moment that the game was truly close or winnable? I didn't feel that way.
I mean, when you got that really long drive, that was, a lot of fourth downs.
Plays.
Yeah, it was
plays.
like 8 or 9 minutes off the clock, and our defense had, outside of the mistakes, had played decent, right? Enough to be able to keep the Panthers in it and not feel like it's a blowout. After that drive, there was a potential hope, but then when the Cowboys were able to come back and just answer, like you said, Tony, on that Pollard touchdown, at that point in time, it was like, yeah, we don't have the team to keep up with an offense like this.
We don't have a team to keep up at all. I don't care if it's 7 points, 10 points, 3 points. Like, the only way this team is going to win is to play from ahead. It feels like, I guess you could say, well, they weren't ahead when they played the Texans, but man, this is uninspiring as a football team. Let's go to the next calls because they inspire me to keep going.
What's up, C3? Anyone else just tired of being the laughing stock of the NFL?
Well, get
just
used to it.
Tired of being embarrassed. This is embarrassing. I'm so done. I'm so done being the perennial loser of the NFL, and we've got nothing going for us. Nothing. Our best player is 32-year-old receiver. I mean, this is a joke. The coaching staff needs to go. Fitterer needs to go. And guess what? Here's the worst part about it. There's no short-term fix to this at all. We are stuck with this mess. This is a 5-year tear-down rebuild. I don't know why they didn't rebuild at the trade deadline. Why did we hang on to every valuable piece we had when we were 1-7? Where's the long-term strategy of this team? I get Brian Burns is a stud. I get you don't want to have to trade him, but my God, did you want to have to trade Christian McCaffrey? Where's the difference? You traded McCaffrey when you had to, but you hold on to Brian Burns, you hold on to Derek Brown, you hold on to Adam Thielen. Like, was there no offer on the table for this guy? I just don't understand. This is a mess. It's a shit show. and there's no short-term fix. I hate to be the same drum every year, but there's no choice but to blow this up and start over from the ground up, and hope that you put the right people in place, the right football minds in place, and then yes, Tepper has to empower them to make the right football decisions. Get out of the way, own the team, hire somebody to do the job. And if you hire somebody like Fitterer, who you think's going to do the job, and he didn't, not even close. This year, I swear, was just the fact that man got one more year, and this is the product he put on the field. Ugh. Anyway, guys, keep doing what you're doing. Keep pounding, and try to get some sleep, because nothing will make you feel better than a good night's sleep.
Oh man, we're gonna need some rest. We're gonna need our energy for the rest of the season. A couple of super chats here. Eric, $5. Thank you very much, Eric. He said we are an offense, a defense, and special teams and good coaches away from being Super Bowl contenders.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't even know if we've got. Oh, can you throw in trainers, scouts, all of that? And also, my bastard son with $1.99. He said we are Cody's fantasy team.
He's such an asshole.
That got me tickled, man. I ain't gonna lie.
Such an asshole, dude.
Do you want to know how bad it is, though? Is the
Carolina my fantasy team or the Panthers? They're both pretty fucking abysmal, dude.
The Carolina Panthers. Let me tell you this is on their page right there, their YouTube page 2 days ago. We're going into Thanksgiving week. It's a turkey giveaway with Shy Tuttle. It's a video the Panthers posted. It's got him and this little girl up there. So look, this seems like a heartfelt video, right? Crushed the algorithm in a way. It's only 2 minutes and 53 seconds. Perfect YouTube video. It has 630 views. 630 views. What the fuck, dude? There's a YouTube short they put up, and this is from 2 days ago as well. A Panthers throwback. And I think it's Romo throwing pick 6 in the Thanksgiving game. It's got 3.9 thousand views. It's got under 4,000 views. The Panthers team is so bad, the YouTube algorithm even knows it. That's some crazy shit right there. Let's go to another call.
Gentlemen, I think we have to give the Bat Daddy boy toy credit. So, Bat Daddy, take your Thor comic book sledgehammer and pump it in there, thrust it, that you were right all along. Let's face it, Bryce Young, he is not big enough, he is not strong enough, he's not tall enough to succeed in the NFL. And so the Bat Daddy, he was right about it too. We should not have drafted this guy. We should have gone with C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud, he's balling, and he's winning. And I think for Cody, he was for taking C.J. Stroud until the cognitive test results came out. But I have to wonder.
That's never changed my mind.
He's not that smart, but he has a great play caller in Andy Reid. So if you have a quarterback, does the quarterback have to be that smart if he's paired with a great play caller? You just have to run the play. If it breaks down, either you throw it away or you improvise and go on instincts. So, gentlemen, what are your thoughts? And as I hope that you guys are able to make it through the rest of this just positively dreadful season. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I don't really care about C.J. Stroud at this point. And he is right now going to be Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's in the argument and the running for being MVP. And I know that they don't give the MVP to rookies, but like the way their team is performing. Look, D'Amico Ryans is going to get Coach of the Year.
100%.
So look, is kudos to what the Houston Texans have going on. What I think is wild, if we were going to force ourselves to talk about the Houston Texans, is not comparing. I'm sick of talking about our wide receivers too. What I think is crazy is their backup offensive line plays better than our starting offensive line.
By the way,
by like a mile.
Dude, I just have to say to anyone in the chat room and to anyone in the calls that thinks that the S2 test made me sour on Stroud, you literally must not have been listening to me. I said the entire time that judging a quarterback based on how he did on a test that has shit all to do with football was always stupid, dude. I never gave any credence to that S2 test. Y'all must be thinking about some other Panthers podcaster, bro, because it sure ain't me, dog. That's all I'm saying.
I want to say that I think there's a good portion of this that we can put on the coaching staff in a pretty easy way. The Cowboys put in their second team, and they were still beating our defense, which tells me that I think play calling has a pretty big piece to when teams are successful and when they're not successful. I think offensive scheme is a big deal. And even going up against their backups, our defensive line wasn't getting pressure. Our cornerbacks were still letting guys get wide open down the field.
We're on our 15th string cornerbacks at this point.
But that's when you talk about the second string offensive line for the Texans. I think that when you think about coaching and whatever offensive scheme you've got, when you have an opposing defense that doesn't have to actually play anything but a short field, I think it makes it an abundantly harder for an offensive line to be successful.
I don't think that's just play call. I don't think there's
nothing's just
anything wrong. Like I don't go look at
it.
I'm not looking at these games and going, oh, play calling. Fucking wish if we would have just done this, we would have done better. I just think it's like this. We just suck. We suck at the plays we call. We suck at the plays we don't call. We're getting just beat up in the trench. You can't win in any football game if you can't win the point of attack, at least occasionally. And this is what it comes down to, is that even when the offensive line has a good rep, no one can do anything with it. There's no rhythm at that point. The receivers are making a mistake at that point. Bryce Young's making a mistake in that point. Or we get a good play, and the next fucking play, it's a false start. And I tell you this, is that when you got an offensive line that sucks, a big fat one like we got, we're in 3rd and 7. Dude, they're pinning that done.
Every time.
Yeah, and
done.
also, but how about in that third quarter, we were driving, and we're going for it on 4th down. This is our only touchdown drive. And we get to a point where it's like, it's 4 down territory. It was like 3rd and 3, and they choose to throw the ball. Why? It's only 3 yards. You're trying to get 3. Like they're so bad in situational moments when it's like when you should know when to run, when you should know when to pass. And shout out to Paul Mancini. Y'all know I've been championing this shit forever. Ike Ekwonu is not a left tackle.
Not right now. He sure isn't.
He isn't. And you know what? Unless y'all are talking about wanting to draft another offensive tackle, which we don't have a 1st-round pick to do so anyway, you better hope that I'm also right that Brady Christensen is going to be able to come back next year and potentially play left tackle for us, which he should have been doing since his rookie year in the NFL. Now we have to hope that a brand new coaching staff is going to be able to make that call instead of continuing to try and fit a square peg into a round hole by making Icky play left tackle. He can't.
One other point, and then next call, we'll think about this instead of reacting to it, and the callers too, is that even to say with like the icky take, right, that he's not a left tackle, and then I say, oh, well, he's not right now. The team doesn't have the luxury of waiting on development.
No,
that's the problem with things. Is you could say, yeah, he can be a left tackle if the rest of the damn offensive line was any good, right? We can't develop every position from 0 to 100 at the same time.
Yeah. How about this? Not only left tackle are we looking at having to start over, dude. J.C. Horn's perpetual absence never being available for this
That's
football
the problem.
team.
That's why we look at
Now-
the Parsons
now
thing.
not
Parsons
only-
a star because he's there.
Not only are we going to have to restart at left tackle, but dude, I'm done with JC, man. Like, unless he comes back and has some fucking crazy turnaround, which why would you expect that right now? It's like they brought him back off of IR. He's still not healthy. I mean, this dude, his body is more frail than mine at this point. It's like it's fucking embarrassing, man. He's never there in these big moments when we need him. That means that pretty soon we're going to be looking at having to replace left tackle and having to get not one but two more corners on our team right now.
We have no corners. We have no corners.
We don't.
Zero.
We're going to have to draft.
And for listeners, when Cody says that his body is more frail than him, he has spinal muscular atrophy. Let's just put that.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, the listeners don't know that. Some of the listeners don't know. So that's a real dig at some people when you say, "Hey, you're frailer than that." Anyway.
Well, I mean, at this point, I feel like how about that? No. I feel like at this point, I could play center better than Bradley Bozeman. I feel like I could be a more healthy corner than JC Horn. And I might even be able to play left tackle better. Who knows? Hey, give me a chance. It can't be that much fucking worse.
Hey,
huh?
I still just want to put you. Let's start with the front office. How about that?
All right, I'm down.
All right.
I'm down.
Okay. You know what? Again, never.
At least a scout.
We are always been clear. We're not football experts. We're expert football fans. But I am 100 and 1,000% serious. There's no way I could do worse than this.
No.
I could fucking field a team that would have done this. I could have got on Madden. Anybody that plays Madden could do this shit just as good.
But doesn't that also lead to the belief that there is a lot to do with this that has to do with coaching? I mean, our offensive line, for the most part, wasn't this bad last year.
I think it is that bad. I think we were misled last year. I think it was just I think that the offensive line was better than average for the first time in the history of our team. So we were like, fucking the greatest shit I've ever. So I think it's kind of like when it's the beer goggles with a girl.
But that's my point is even if we were able to be above average as an offensive line, how do we go from above average to being bottom 3 in the entire NFL?
I would say we were slightly below average. I know statistically people would say, well, you get injured.
Well, we got one injury right now.
You get injured and older. You get Corbett. You haven't had Corbett healthy, and you got Brady Christensen's hurt, and you got older.
Well, it just feels like to me the difference that between this year and last year is we were able to adapt and have a game plan that was tailored to what we had on the field. It doesn't feel like we have that now. We don't have a game plan.
But we don't have those players anymore either. We don't have those running backs. We don't have those quarterbacks. We don't have I don't know. Look, CK you're right. There has to be the coaching is part of it. It's a large part of it, but I think the players suck. That's what I think.
I don't think that you could look at the roster that we have and could have thought that, right? Coming into this year, I don't think any of us believed that we could say the entire roster sucked.
I didn't think so, but you know what? I do now.
Right, but that's my point is these guys are still NFL players, right? And I guarantee you take these. What my belief is that the majority of these players that are starting, that were our first team offense and defense at the beginning of the year, you put them in a environment like a Shanahan offense, or you give them to Dallas. These guys are still going to have a better outing than what they're having right now under Frank Reich and this regime, at least from my opinion, from what I've seen.
I think you're right in some cases, but I think that's also a little cherry picky because you could be like, yeah, maybe DJ Chark would be a little bit better on a team but our team just yuck. Just yuck, dude. All right, let's go to the next one. I mean, you got a good point. Got good points.
But it's also it's a confluence of issues. So yes, a lot of this is on the coaching, But then a lot of this, like the coaches, like they're not magic workers either. Like they're not gonna all of a sudden make this offensive line give Bryce more than a second and a half
Right.
to be able to throw the football. And again, that's why it was hard. I tried being the voice of reason to be like, hey man, we gotta give these guys a little more time. But now it's so bad. Like there's no way that you give these guys another
You're done. Yeah,
chance. All the rationality is out the window. So it's literally these things stacked on top of each other. It's bad decisions from our coaching staff. It is the offensive line being the worst that I've seen in forever. And it's your rookie quarterback missing wide open receivers when he needs to. And how about this, dude? The minute that I say that, the man himself, the guy that you've been waiting to hear from, that's right, he's here, folks. The Bat Daddy had to get in on the action, bro. Greg, they were calling for you, man. Talk your shit, bro.
Yeah, you know what? I haven't listened up to this point. I'm sure they've probably been calling for me, but yeah, I really don't care at this point. Look, the proof is in the pudding and everything we see, and I'm not here to talk shit. I've just been very busy lately, which is why I've been a little more absent. But I had some time right now, and I was like, hey, I saw the game today and saw what a shit show that Carolina Panthers have put out there. Like overall for the team, I'm not calling any one specific person out. And just talk about where we go from here, man. Like I think there are a few arguments that we've been having that are kind of over. And I think now we need to start looking ahead to different arguments about where we're going to go in the future.
I think, we're going to be looking to the front office, man. That's where we go from here, is starting with the front office. And we're going to need first, actually, let me do this. This is where we go. We start with Dexter Lawrence across the pond. I meant Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence is the guy that just fucking mollywomped Bradley Bozeman. Dexter Henderson across the pond with 499 pounds. He really keeps pounding. He says, "Stay strong, C3 family. Let's." Why did it disappear?
Let's
stay strong, C3.
Locked.
Yeah, keep our arms locked through the storm, and kind of dedicate ourselves this. We are going to need each other, so thank you. So we start there. We start by locking arms. Mm-hmm. Second part is this: we have to fire Scott Finner, and we then need to hire a GM. And I don't know if David Tepper can lead the search. I almost feel like it's time for either David Tepper to get some football consultants in there and to help him with the search there. And then when they do hire that GM, he recuse himself entirely from any process. And then the GM then hires the next coach, because David Tepper, whether or not he is the problem, he has not helped us get better in the changes that he's made. And so if he does it again, we're sending him back into the kitchen to cook another shitty meal for us, and we're going to send it back next time. Let's go to the next call.
Afternoon, fellas. This is your friend Nick out in Seattle. It's a beautiful day here, but man, let me tell you, it's a rough day to be a Panthers fan, and I'm sure y'all can agree with this. I feel pretty stuck because we are going to be set back a while after this. If you look at recent history, the teams that give up 2-1s, they're trying to make some noise right now. We're making noise right now, but none of it's positive. Like, the simple fact that we don't have a first next year, when it would likely be the first overall pick, and we gave up all of that to jump up to get Bryce, and Bryce just looked so bad. Granted, there's so many things wrong around him, but even if we flush it and hit the reset button to try to come back next year, what coach is going to want to come here, knowing we don't have a first-round pick, knowing we have an owner that's going to be in the pot the whole time, who's going to be overly influential on every decision made? I'm just so stuck because it's really funny. CK the other day was saying if he moves the team, it gives him an excuse to not have to follow the Panthers anymore. But it's like, damn, like they always say with sports, no matter how much you love your team, they're never going to love you back. And that's kind of how it feels right now. And I just want to know, with the boys, what do you think, if and anything, could try to dig us out of this hole and put us going the right direction sooner rather than later? Love all of what you're doing. Tony, congratulations on your time sober. I know how hard it is, especially being a dad, especially with your kids and your wife being out of town. I know how tough that is. The rest of you guys, you do an amazing job on the pod. Keep up the good work. Keep pounding.
CK, we know you got to run, so you should comment on that and give yourself a tip of the cap and then go to your family.
Yeah, I've got to dip out. I have a family event here in the next 30 minutes, so got to go get ready for that. But honestly, the funny thing is I've been looking forward to that event more than I was looking forward to watching the Panthers play today. At this point, man, I'm just I'm happy to be here with you guys and everybody in the chat. Even though we all have a bit of a disagreement, here and there, it's all because we're passionate about the Panthers, and we only want the best for this team moving forward. And hopefully, that's something that's going to happen. Right now, we're just going to have to sit in the basement for a bit, and those fans that are in the basement that Tepper alluded to, we can now say that Tepper's in the basement with us. So welcome to the shit show here, bud.
Yes,
thanks, CK, for your time. Give your family, your beautiful wife and children our love, and go enjoy the evening.
All right, guys, y'all have a good one now.
Cody, Josh was asking us how do we, and really Greg asked this too to start, is where do we go? How do we go from here? Particularly without the first round draft pick. Not only did we not sell in the trade deadline or before the trade deadline, so the Panthers didn't acquire any assets of draft capital. To me, there's a simple answer, or not a simple answer. The only answer is to allocate all of your financial free agent resources to a 100% offensive line overhaul.
Yeah, I mean,
you go and get 2 tackles and a center.
I mean, the first thing that you have to do is fire Scott Fitterer. I mean, you absolutely have to, man. I think that when you look at what this team has done collectively through the draft and in free agency, like there's a reason our roster is weaker than everybody else. Hey, let me make sure I get this in so that way our boy can see it before he goes to bed. I know it's late over there. From across the pond, Dexter Henderson with the 499 pounds says, stay strong, C3 family. Let's keep our arms locked through the storm. Hopefully some people will be showing the door now. We need changes. Keep pounding. And yeah, I mean, the thing that I would do effective immediately, and I'm hoping that we end up doing a live stream covering this, is I hope that they fire Fitterer. If you don't want to fire Frank Reich in the middle of the season, David Tepper, to save a little bit of face, fine, do it. Let them ride out the season. But you need to fire the guy that's been your general manager for 3 years now? Like I said, continues to fail in free agency. He doesn't draft well. We're still wondering about his first round picks in Kemba Kwanu and JC Horn. And I mean, we're still wondering about Bryce Young right now too. So in my mind, if David Tepper wants to show that he's doing something to make changes, then yeah, you need to fire Scott Fitterer effective 2 weeks ago.
Well, I think I don't disagree that Scott Fitterer needs to go. I think that people need to take the realistic approach to this and kind of look at this like at this point where we're at right now. Even if we get rid of Scott Fitterer, like we're 2 or 3 years away from having a solid plan of being a good team no matter what. It's just the position that we're in. We've been trying to go through rebuilds and we've been rushing the rebuilds, and because we've been rushing the rebuilds, we're in a position where we're basically got to start over again. We can start over with a quarterback who might be a good quarterback. So realistically, no matter what we do in the future, what free agents we bring in next year, we're about 2 or 3 years away from really making a difference and having a franchise with a solid bedrock to build off of and move forward.
I would just want to be better, Greg. And I don't think you can get better by adding receivers first or, I mean, yeah, I guess you could build a really good defense but that's not going to save Bryce Young's life. Right now, I think you have to save Bryce Young's life to see if he can be the Bryce Young that you want him to be. Or else you're just going to he's just
Bryce Young's life.
Protection, time and protection.
But you can't guarantee offensive line. Look, we picked up Corbett this year. We had a healthy.
No, we had Corbett. No, he was coming off of an injury.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so we thought we had a solid offensive line,
but you had no depth. So what we need to do is this: we got to go out there and we got to get. When I say tackles, is Moton's going to get is aging out. Aquana is going to need to be moved to guard. You're going to have to go and get some guys in free agency that can start, not role players, not backup players. You need to go and get a top-notch guard.
Yeah.
And a top-notch tackle, and then move Aquano to guard.
They're just
and
not
then
available
draft
in free
a
agency,
center
Tony.
in the draft.
People
we're
don't
going to
let those
have
good guys go.
No, we have a bunch of money.
The Carolina Panthers let those good guys go, but most teams don't let those good guys go.
We have a bunch of money. We have a bunch of money. So at some point, you're going to have to overpay. There's going to be and you know what? There's going to be teams that are going to need to pay skill players so much money that they can't overpay their guard by $3 or $4 million or something like that.
Fair.
And look, the Jags had to overpay for Christian Kirk and Zay Jones and all of these guys, but at least they got enough guys to where they could start rolling in the right direction. The Carolina Panthers are never going to roll anywhere in the right direction with Bryce Young if they get him murdered.
Yeah.
And he's getting murdered, and he's getting murdered each and every week to the point where he can't play football anymore. You're going to do to him what the Texans did to whatever fucking Carr it was. David Carr.
Like I said, the Panthers will fail him before he fails the Panthers.
Right. But you won't ever. So there's no sense in doing those other things and then getting him killed. And then just next year having to start with another quarterback and a draft and doing it all over again. And you still don't have just build the fucking wall. Just build the wall. I don't care if the defense sucks. I don't care if anybody's right now. The defense sucks with sucky players, but they're not even the suckiest part of the team. I'm telling you, this is like you know what you want to pay. How about this is I would much rather overpay a guard than I would rather than pay. I already forgot it. Brian Burns. Sorry. Sorry. I just been like this, and that's not a shit. I'm not trying to even shit talk Brian. Nope. I would rather have a defense that looks like the defense we got right now than to have an offense that we have right now. God, let's take another call.
Podcast brothers, how y'all doing? I'm so glad that game is over. That game was horrible. We didn't even look prepared. And I'm telling you, man, if David Tepper don't fire somebody soon, then I don't know what the hell is up. Fire Frank, man. I'm telling you, man, these players, he lost the locker room weeks ago. My personal opinion, the offense played like shit. Our defense is fucking shit. Our defense, to me, is fucking horrible. You know what I'm saying? When Double E, Evero, where his name is, I call him Double E, whatever. Hopefully after this season, he goes somewhere else, man, because that 3-4, that shit fucking sucks, man. We are not built for a fucking 3-4, man. Every Panther fan knows that shit. We're not, man. And offensive line, we need to reconstruction that shit, like for real. They said Bryce 7 times today? 7 times, and he threw an interception return for a touchdown. Come on, man. We are better than that. And David Tepper, you have to do something, man. He has to do something. I'm saying fire fucking Frank. I don't give a fuck if we got to pay him for the next 3 to 4 years. I don't give a shit. Get Frank the fuck out of Carolina. And the GM, and the damn offensive coordinator, and the damn defensive coordinator. This team, we are in trouble. I have not seen us look this fucking bad since 2001. That was the last time I seen this team look this fucking pathetic, man. It's just a fucking embarrassment to the organization and us as fans. So give me your thoughts on that, y'all. Keep pounding.
yeah, is this team the worst Carolina Panthers team ever? And right now they're on pace to be.
Yeah, it's tough to say, man. It's hard to call back those years before with what was it,
2010.
115,
We got
yeah.
2010 and 2001, and it's hard to remember the 2001 team for me. They were also a 1-15 team.
Yeah.
This team right here has the potential to be the first 1-17 team in franchise history, so to actually lose even more
1-16.
games.
18 weeks, 17
Yeah,
games.
thank
So
you.
1-16.
Thank you. 1-16. But I don't think they look competent in any place.
Not at all. They have flashes and moments where they have maybe a good drive, but like, look, did y'all realize their touchdown drive was 17 plays, 70 yards, almost 9 minutes.
Yeah,
17 plays, man. That is
I know it's
trugging
going to
along.
take us 2 years to score 21 points.
Yeah, and I'm not saying, I'm not trying to take away from the fact that they had a touchdown drive, but it's only this one drive we're talking about right here. They look like on absolutely no level of the game at all they are equipped to play in the NFL at this moment.
And that's at every our special teams is okay. My favorite player is Johnny Hecker. My favorite player on the team is the punter. That's some fucked up shit if you ever say that in your life. That makes you want to drink.
Yeah.
What's going on, C3 family? D, Sanford, North Carolina.
What's up, D?
Shout out to Tony, Cody, CK, Greg, Panther, Pickle, Muscle, Marinara, G, Baby, the whole C3
What
family.
up, D?
Normally when I get on these calls, I really try to be optimistic. I try to give you like a bright spot. And this isn't really that call because somebody's got to get fired or somebody's have to get fired. I had already told myself at the beginning of the week, I held from calling in on Tuesday because in my head, if we got our heads kicked in or we came with a very anemic performance, somebody was gonna have to go. Me personally, I've never had a problem with losing. If we're fighting and we're competing and we're showing growth, we ain't had that. We laid down. That first half, I had hope. I mean, the defense was decent. No offensive production, but then I would see little flashes in the run.
Right.
Then the false starts come, of course. Then the blitz like every third down. Michael Parsons could do whatever he wanted to, however he wanted to. He might have solidified NFL Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, just what he did to us today. Also, in that breath, back to what I say just about every week, so undisciplined. When we were still in the game, the personal fouls, which was like 3 of them, and I'm sitting here like, this is absolutely ridiculous. But at this point now, I didn't want to go back to stripping it all down again as far as coaches and so forth and just the GM, but I burn it to the ground. Burn it to the damn ground. All right. We got a quarterback that can't stay on his feet. When he do got time to throw it, it's too high, it's overthrown. He's just not it. He's out of his groove. We bought a lemon at running back. Oh my God. And on top of that, where is Noah? We need Noah. Has anybody checked on Noah? Is Noah okay? Somebody let me know. But yo, I still love the community. I love the podcast. I love to get that off my chest. I'm still the greatest podcast for Panther football and any football is to C3. I love y'all.
Look,
another week part to the course.
We love you too, man. We love you. That's D and Sanford always bringing a great call. And yeah, is to be honest or about this is no one really, not a single Panther fan expected the Panthers to win this game.
No.
Thought the Panthers were going to win this game. And nor should losing this game be a single determinant of anything. But this is just a compilation of getting shit on. It's just like, I mean, you're already at your lowest low, and then it's just getting water splashed on you while you're walking down the street. You've been fired. You lost your house. You brought a car, and you're driving down the street and you're just walking, minding your own business, and a car comes by and splashes water on you. I mean, it's just, gosh, we are at the bottom. But I would like to point out to this is, do you remember that moment? And people have been referencing it in the chat that David Tepper said, some of these fans need to get out of their basement and stop tweeting in their mama's basement or whatever. Nah, David Tepper, we decided to sit in the basement and let you come to us. Because you brought this whole fucking franchise to us in the basement. And now you're a billionaire hanging out with fucking people living in their parents' house basements. Take that. God, you fucking shithead.
We've done nothing but gotten worse since he's taken over. Like
He has to recuse himself after the GM process. He has to recuse himself, and he better get some other people in that room when he's hiring that GM that have hired a GM before. He needs to consult with former owners. He needs to consult with he needs to get some fucking GM, like, you know how they have those committees where they'll go and get consultants. He needs to get Tony Dungy in there. He needs to get Bill Parcells in there. He needs to get some people in there that are on that fucking committee with him that will tell him to shut the fuck up and listen.
Yeah.
And then he's got to hire that GM. They're going to hire that GM. And then he needs to say this: I'm going to go on a year-long trip around my fucking yacht. Fix it. I'll be back next year.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to. Yeah.
Hey, shout out to Jeffrey Swan in the chat. Says, I'm a retired veteran and this podcast keeps me going. I'm a diehard Panthers fan since day one, and Jesus, I'm so pissed. At a loss for words with this team. Very depressing, man. Well, listen, at this point, the C3 Panthers podcast, we take pride that some of you still watch the Panthers just so that y'all can react with us at the end of the day, man. 275 people strong right now. We appreciate y'all, man. And listen, we want you to be able to vent. That's why the C3 Panthers podcast is for Panther fans, by Panther fans, man. Call into the cat calls, 252-228-5098. And every Friday at 7 p.m., we do the Friday free-for-all, man. We know this is hard times for Panther fans and what you're going through, but you're not going through it alone. This is still the football team that sadly we still love, even though they hurt us. And we're in this together, man. So if you appreciate that content, just know that we appreciate you even more, man.
The Carolina Panthers were defeated 33-10 at home, where they had to go on silent counts because the Cowboys fans took over the stadium. Their number one draft pick completed the day with 16 completions on 29 attempts, 123 yards total passing. A 20-yard longest pass was his longest one of the game. One touchdown to Tommy Tremble and one interception that was returned for a touchdown. The guy who and he had a fumble, which he looked like he was trying to do some like fake pitch to hopefully get this guy. Look, is even on that play, on that one, I think on the fumble play, there were players that were open and he just prematurely felt the pocket collapsing. And look, I don't really blame him for playing gun shy right now. Is that, you know, if you always are under duress, it's going to affect your mentality, your confidence to be able to sit there. We saw him sit in the pocket and look downfield and take hits and make throws early in the season. And I think that now it's just gotten to him to where he is. And this is where you don't want him to be a David Carr. David Carr was so bad, dude, that at one point I used to joke on this podcast that when fat people walked in the room, he just wet himself. I mean, it was just like, oh, large man, I'm dead. He got sacked 73 times in a season.
Dude, I can understand, like you said, the gun shy part of it. Like, I mean, he's been taking some insane hits. I was watching the game today, and it almost like at points in times, our offensive line looked like tackling dummies. That the defensive line was just rushing around tackling dummies. Like there was nobody there.
Well, especially on that Tony Pollard touchdown, where we thought that it was a flag on them, but it ended up being on us on defense.
Yeah,
dude, he just bulldozed his way right to the end zone. Like dude, Xavier Woods got bulldozed on that play, man.
Xavier Woods, I think it was Greg Olson. He said, man, imagine, he said he had a face mask and a horse collar penalty on the same play.
He wouldn't let him go.
Man, it is. I wanted to point out the guy that returned the pick for a touchdown has just as many touchdowns as our leading receiver with 4 on the season.
Yeah. Well, defenses have figured out how to play Bryce Young. All you got to do is, when it's not Bryce Young, how to play the Carolina Panthers. When you're playing the Carolina Panthers and you get a third down, just blitz.
Yeah, or just walk forward.
Yeah.
Just walk it quickly. All right, let's go to whose call was that? That wasn't D's. That was D we did last, right? Or did we do one other?
I think that was D's last.
Have we done this one?
What's up, C3? It's Anthony from Charlotte. At the bar right now. Just thought I'd call in, man. I'm so happy I decided not to go to the game today. What a waste of fucking time, dude. This organization is a fucking joke. Obviously, I'll start with this. Listen, I told you all my stance on Bryce Young is neutral. Like, he didn't play good at all. Like, he's not set up for any success here. Like, it seems like he's just mentally broken. And that's on the coaching staff, man. Like, I don't even know if he's going to be here more than 2 years. Like, this fucking organization is a clown show. And if Frank Reich and Scott Bitter have jobs tomorrow, then you know that this shit's going to go on to be a clown show for as long as David Tepper is the owner. Because this dude's a day late, dollar short. And quite frankly, he doesn't give a fuck. There's Cowboy fans. The Cowboys didn't even try versus us. They didn't even do what I was saying on the free-for-all. If they wanted to just win the game simply, they could have just handed the ball off 25 times and burned us out. They threw a lot, which I don't know why they did. Stupid coaching by them. Still worked for the most part. I mean, Dak only had 180 yards. He didn't even have to dice us up. Listen, the defense, nothing's good on this team. Like, let's just accept it. This offensive line is the worst in Carolina history. Frank Reich and Scott Bitter need to be fucking fired. And if you want to bench Bryce Young, hey, I'm all for it. This dude is getting sacked 7 times a game, and he's still somehow not getting injured. I don't know what it is. The one thing about him,
maybe mentally injured.
I love him for that, but please bench him. There's no point to play him unless we get an interim coach in here and he turns it around like Steve Wilson says, "Hey, we're gonna run the ball 40 times a game." I'd love that. But Bryce just doesn't have the weapons or the offensive line. He's not set up for success right now. And yeah, he missed a couple throws. There were some bad ones. It seems like he's even like burned out by this whole process too. He's not used to winning. And before anyone says anything, dude, Stroud threw 3 picks today. Stroud has 8 turnovers on the season. Bryce has like 10 or 11. It's not a major difference. Yes, Stroud's throwing for more yards and more touchdowns because he has a competent organization.
Stroud don't got no 8 picks.
He's got playmakers all over the place.
I think he has. Listen, he 3 a day. He had 2 before.
The point
I think
is that
5
these
now.
fuckers need to be fired. And if they're not fired, then it just goes back to the whole thing. This organization is unserious. And I seriously don't understand, David Tepper, how you're going to keep fans around thinking that this is interesting or people are going to want to come to your games. No, fuck that. This organization is the worst in the league, and it's a joke. I'm tired of caping for this team.
And like I said, I'm more of a C3 Panthers podcast fan than I am a Panthers fan at this point. Fucking joke. Bye.
The Panthers are in the basement. That's why we have a basement emoji. We're basement fans, and now we're a basement team with a basement owner. Let's go to the next call.
You want to shout out the super chat?
Yeah,
shout out
please.
to everybody from Basement Twitter for knowing more about football than David Tepper, Basement Beast.
Here's Anthony again.
Hey, read the private chat.
What's up, C3? I'm back. So, yeah, what I was saying was, it's Anthony from Charlotte. What I was saying was, yeah, Cowboys minus 10.5 was a fucking lock, dude. I can't believe we had people on the free-for-all. Oh, we're going to beat the Cowboys. Yeah, go pour yourself a fucking scotch, dude. Like, give me a fucking break. These fucking guys, as Muscle Marinara says, these fucking guys are a fucking joke. It's a joke. This whole organization, it's so bad right now. I don't think you guys realize this because you guys are going to try to stay positive on the post game and be reasonable, but no. This organization, this is fucking below rock bottom. You know the episode in SpongeBob where he goes to rock bottom and he's stuck there for a couple hours and there's no train to get back? Dude, this is below rock bottom. We're at the cores of the fucking earth. We're in like the outer layer or whatever the fuck that is. I can't remember because I've taken geology in a couple of years. But still, dude, this is a fucking scam. And why? I told my dad today, I'm like, why the fuck would we spend money to go watch this team lose by 23? Well, what's the point? What's the point? We can just go to the bar and have some drinks instead for free. There's no point to go to the game. David Tepper has to fire these dudes. Frank Reich, your play calling today didn't look any different than Thomas Brown's. Didn't look better. There was no creativeness. And by the way, Jonathan Mingo, can we just cut that dude? I don't even care that we picked him. That dude fucking sucks. He's the laziest dude I've ever seen. We ran the ball pretty okay. And here's the last thing. This team doesn't understand that, like, when you're running the ball, there's one drive. We were running the ball all over them. It's like, then keep doing it. Keep running them. Keep burning them out. But no, then they switch to this drop-back pass game. There's no play-action shots downfield, and now I see why they don't run it. They already accepted the fact that they can't run play-action. We just don't have the personnel or anything to do it. And, like, listen, we're not going to beat another team this year. Maybe one more win. Maybe one more win. What are we, 1-9? We're not going to beat another team. Also, where was Mike Strachan today? Where was he? The longest play of the year. He doesn't play now? Give me a fucking break. And the other thing is, Derek Brown's the best player on the team. Brian Burns continues to do fucking nothing. I saw Derek Brown blowing up Zach Martin. Zach Martin. He was going through double teams too. He's the best player on the team. Listen, Carolina, they need to figure out what to do with Bryce Young. They got to get some pieces in here or it's not going to work out. Or we'll be in the run for a quarterback in 2025. And they have to rebuild everything. Offensive line, receivers, cornerbacks, linebackers, D-line. I mean,
Anthony was one of Bryce's big, I mean, I'm assuming he still is, biggest supporters. And if he's calling to bench him, like, now, you know, I thought I was about to come up here and say something controversial that we need to bench Bryce Young, but it feels like everybody feels the same way. If you feel that it's all on him or not. I mean, his health and safety is at risk right now.
That's
and
the truth. And his development.
100%.
And his health and safety, you said it great at the beginning of the show. His development is dependent on him being available and healthy, right?
Yes.
Is like he's not it right now. He's not a guaranteed lock. Like you're not going to extend his contract right now. You know, you're not saying, oh, well, you need him to get better. And you need to see if he can get better. And you won't be able to see that if he fucking breaks his neck next game, or if he tears every ligament in one leg or something. And again, the time, you know what you're going to need is right now you're going to have a new staff. That staff needs to have every moment with him that they can have to see and hopefully contribute to his positive development. They don't need him spending more time with the trainers than they do with them.
So hypothetical here, and I don't think this is going to happen, but let's just say it does. We got 7 games left. What if they decide to bench Bryce? They put Andy Dalton in, and we win 4 of the last 7 games. Are we still calling for Frank Reich to be fired?
I mean,
what was the question again? Sorry, my daughter.
What if we bench Bryce Young next week and Andy Dalton wins 4 of the last 7 games? Are we still calling for Frank Reich's?
Yes.
Yeah, really. So that's not.
I don't think we're gonna. I don't think we can. I don't think
the
it
play
would
caller
happen,
was
Greg.
not the biggest issue.
No, I don't think the play calling is the biggest issue, Greg. I think every issue is big right now, Greg.
Well, how about this, Greg? How about this? I'll answer you like this. I'm a believer that Frank Reich didn't even want Bryce Young. I kind of think that he wanted CJ Stroud. So if it's true that he came here just to have a quarterback that he didn't want and he let it be forced upon him, then yeah, fire him. You had your opportunity to stand up for the quarterback you wanted and you didn't fucking do it. So now that you have the quarterback that apparently the whole organization drafted and he's not playing well, okay, you had your pick. They brought in Frank Reich to be able to pair him with Bryce Young for the foreseeable future. If that already isn't the match, then both of them aren't the right guy, both Frank and Bryce.
And Greg, it's a question. I don't really like the question in one hand because one, I don't think it can happen. Right? Like I don't think that Andy Dalton comes in here and the Panthers win 4 out of 7. Okay. I can understand that you might maybe there's a world where it could. So I'm not trying to dismiss the question. I don't think it could happen though. And then right now I'm trying to think is like really what we're asking. Another way to ask it is what could happen this season that would that would keep Frank Reich around for another year. And each week we have gone on, it feels like there's less and less of a possibility that there is an answer to that question. Like a real legitimate, like, I don't know, outside of us reeling off 7 in a row and all of a sudden, like, which I don't think it's an impossibility. Like, I think the only thing that would keep Reich's jobs are all impossibilities. And that sucks. I didn't think this was going to be the case. I didn't think that Reich was going to necessarily be a savior of a coach. I didn't ever think, though, that I could say there's no reason for anybody. I mean, Greg, I'm at the point right here is that if you told me anybody, and even not Bryce, but kind of like Bryce, the only reason Bryce Young for me should be on the team next year is because you got a lot of assets in him. But right now, if you told me tomorrow and you picked any name on the team from the front office to the outside of Johnny Hecker and Bryce Young and said they weren't going to be on the team next year, I wouldn't even be upset.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe
like, I mean, I'd just be
Derek
like,
Brown.
Well, yeah, Derek Brown, Frankie Louvet. But what my point is like, there's nothing good enough to make things worse.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, or like, there's no change. Like, wait, I don't know. Okay, whatever. I'm just gonna say okay, whatever to every single one of them.
Yeah, we'd basically be starting from ground zero. So like I said, we need to do this rebuild the right way.
But we don't even know what that is. The right way.
The right way would have been focusing on offensive line and defensive line, and then working your way out and getting a quarterback at the right time. We were in a position to do last year. How we not jump for a quarterback?
We did that. We drafted a left tackle. We drafted a defensive tackle. We've drafted. Like at this point, we haven't even done those things right.
Yeah, I mean you're right. It's been bad. It's just been bad drafting all the way around. You're absolutely right. We've tried to do the right thing. We've just failed at it.
Yeah, I mean we've just been bad at even those kind of incremental things that you need to do, those foundational blocks, like you're saying, we've laid poor foundation, and then we put some shitty ass janky. We called in some contractors that we're going to pay under the table. We got janky drywall now. We got everything's lean. Let's go to. We didn't do. Here's Jay Anderson.
What's up, guys? This is Chase from Anderson. I just got a few
Chase.
things. The ones that saying that pick six was on Bryce, that was not on Bryce. The interception, that was just a really good play by the DB. Even the commentator says so. The score was on Mingo. When the DB intercepted the ball and one on the ground was rolling around, Mingo just walks away instead of tagging the player down. That's the score's on Mingo.
Okay, that's a good point.
Another thing is,
Jake Delone didn't
why
agree
is
with your
the
point,
right
though,
guard
that wasn't on
signaling
Bryce.
for the snap? Every time he reaches his arm out to call for the snap, everybody sees it. Everybody knows it. Don't you think that's part of the problem? 7 sacks given up today. 7.
Yeah.
I know Bryce has not been great this year, but every game, everybody that knows football or has anything to do with football are saying that no quarterback can survive in this environment. Man, it's a complete failure all around for everybody. And if Frank Reich and Scott Fitter don't get fired this week, I don't understand it. That makes no serious sense.
I was listening to the radio call because I had just gotten in my car. I was walking in my car after that Pollard touchdown, and I sit in the car, and the immediate thing that happens is the pick six. And Jake Delone did not absolve Bryce entirely there, right? Like the caller did. What he said that Bryce just didn't have enough on it he didn't get it there quick enough for that to happen. Like, basically, it was a couple. I mean, and he wasn't just saying Bryce fucked it up too. There were a couple of things that happened. The DB made a very good play. Bryce didn't have enough oomph on the ball to get it there quick enough in that moment. To where that's what pro guys do in those situations. It looked open for a second and then it won't. And so there wasn't, and I guess he said he just didn't get enough there. He just didn't get it there. And then on top of that, you saw Tommy Trimble just running free one level up from it. And I think, there's just a calamity of things. But yeah, is that if Mingo had the opportunity, I was listening to it on the radio. If he had the opportunity to touch him, Mingo has been shit this year. But that's so before CK, I don't know if he said this in before we got on, but he said that he wanted the Panthers, that the Panthers need to trade up into the first round and get a wide receiver. They're just going to have to get. And I don't think that's a great idea because I don't think year one wide receivers make enough impact. I think we count on too often rookies to make the team better. And I think that, you could do that from Bryce Young to, we drafted Derek Brown, so we're going to fucking be able to stop the run now. Oh, we got Ike Aquanu, so we're going to build, right? Is that young players take time to develop. I don't care unless they're the top 3 players. They take time to develop, and even then, sometimes they take time to develop.
Right. I think part of the reason why we felt a little duped by that and we felt like it should be a little more immediate is because most of the guys we've drafted in the last 5-6 years have been top 10 players. They've been guys that you've drafted that are supposed to be at that position, guys that come in and plug and play. Now, you're right. It may take time to develop them, but that's not what we're sold with players like that. Usually when you have a top 5, top 6 pick, you're expecting them to come in and be on an NFL
you
level.
expect them to contribute. You expect them to contribute when they're good. It's like, hell yeah, that was great. Mm-hmm. But man, your success can't bank on those things.
You're right, it can't, and we've been relying on that. Like if we've got the number 27 pick every year, I'm not expecting him to come in and be a world beater. Like it'd be awesome if he was, but I think that's the problem is that we have these expectations that come in because we've been so shitty. And, law of averages says that we've been so shitty and we've been drafting so good in the first, so high in the first round. We should be hitting on picks, but we're just not. I guess law of averages doesn't always work. We're just missing on a lot of this stuff.
All right.
That's
Next call.
What's up, C3? It's Panther Potato. I just wanted to hear you guys kind of discuss what your thoughts are for the off season, because I don't see how anyone's going to want to play for this team with or without Reich, because there's going to be some tumultuous times if they start firing people, which they deserve. But, we're going to have to overpay for players, which is it's not a good look, overpaying for people who just want to play for money. It doesn't bring any heart to the team. So I think the best thing to do is overpay for offensive linemen. Just throw the bank at it.
I'm with you.
Fucking draft all offensive linemen. Do whatever you have to do to make sure that you go into next season with the best possible offensive line that you can have.
2 big free agent signings on
because I just
offensive
don't
line.
see anyone else
there.
wanting
They've got
to
to
play
be
for
there.
this team. Maybe some hog mollies will want to start, building an identity here, which will then help bring other players in the future.
There's always some market, Greg. We got to go and we got to be big spenders where everybody else is going to be like, oh, we're going to go get a defensive end. We're going to spend this. We're going to get a wide receiver. We're going to pony up on the first 2 days of the NFL free agent period. And whoever the top fucking names are up there, we're going to give them, we need to back up the truck to them.
That's a tall order, because even if you do back up that truck, they still may not want to come here. They may see what a shit show this place is and be like, no, I'm not going there.
Maybe.
There's more to it than just money. But yeah, I agree. We should do that. It just doesn't guarantee it's going to work out. And even if you do get them,
but we ain't going down the list. We ain't going to be down on the list trying to find a guy who's a value motherfucker.
No Walmart.
We are going to go overpay for that. We're going to, what we're going to go get, Greg? We're going to go buy the cheeseburger that is $189 in Vegas that's covered in gold flakes.
Got the gold leaf on it. Yeah.
Yeah, which is bullshit. Yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb. But you know what? That's what we're tired of McDonald's. We're tired of fucking whatever. We are going to go and overspend on a good burger. We're going to eat that burger and we're going to say it was not worth $189 million. But thank God we didn't have a shitty fucking burger again.
Yeah.
But and I think you have to go 2 in free agency and get a center in the draft. And that means Bradley Bozeman's going to start next year. Icky is going to be a guard, a new left tackle, and Corbett.
Isn't Bozeman our center?
Yeah.
So you said get a new center.
But I get a center in the draft.
Right. So you're going to get rid of Bozeman?
No, I think you start the year with Bozeman. You have a rookie, a high-end rookie that you're ready to start developing. And if Bozeman's not playing well, then you can start maybe thinking about putting the rookie in. But enough with this shit too, of the whole plan working on the starting guys being the only guys that work. You have to have, that's why I'm saying this, is I want 2 major free agents, because you're going to bring back Brady Christensen coming off an injury, and you're going to have Austin Corbett, who is getting older and injured. And you know what? I'd rather have 1 extra guard who's really good than to only have enough players to make it through 3 weeks of the season. Because that's what we had this year. We had enough players to get through 1 fucking week of the season. Brady Christensen tears his bicep. Corbett's not. We didn't have enough. Next call.
What is going on, C3? Happy Sunday football day. Best part, obviously, is C3 and not those damn kittens. Oh, terrible. Hey, so clearly this is up to us. So I figured I'd call in, and C3's got to fix the problem here in Carolina, because front end management and ownership's not. So here's our 3-step plan. Number one, we start a social media campaign. We start talking about how Kathy Wood is the greatest hedge fund manager of all time, just better than anyone else. And hopefully that'll get that little dick syndrome Tepper back on Wall Street in no time. He's going to get his feelings hurt. He's going to be all butt hurt. And he can say, I got to get out of this. I got to get back to Appaloosa. That's step one. Step two. We are going to we're going to call a meeting. We're going to say, hey, Bryce, Bradley, come here. We're going to tell the rest of the offensive line that we're on a 2 count the rest of the year. But we're not. We're on a 1 count. So you guys are going to hike the ball on the 1 count. Everybody moves on the 2 count. Boom. 85, 92 more yards a game right there without the false start penalties. Because those motherfuckers don't know how to count. Right there. We're solving it. We're solving it.
We've had
C3.
so many
We've
false
got
starts.
this.
I like it.
And then finally, we're going to add to our offense. I'm telling you, we are going to kick some ass these last 7 games. We're going to change every wide receiver's number to 19. And then all of a sudden, Bryce Young will start seeing more than 1 wide receiver every fucking game.
Jeez.
And maybe have more than 112 yards passing. Keep pounding, guys. I love what you're doing. You are truly the best of Panthers football.
Appreciate you, man.
He's bringing solutions.
I like that. Change everybody's number to 19. That's pretty smart.
Next go.
What's going on, C3 Nation? This your boy Jay Anderson hitting y'all up.
What up, Jay?
Man, this whole season, you know who I blame? Y'all can blame Tepper. Y'all can blame the coaching staff and all that, the offensive line. I blame the Carolina Panthers fans. I blame them. I blame all of them. Every last single one of them. Not every last single one of them. I'll say majority of them. We need an offensive-minded coach. The offense is where the NFL is going. We don't need no. Look what the offensive-minded coach is doing. 1-9. The all-star cast, the all-star coaching staff is 1-9. Before they even play the game, they got the all-star coaching staff tag team. They 1-9. They look shitty as hell. Excuse my language, but that's the only thing I can think of. This all-star coaching staff. Fans will talk about, we don't need no defensive-minded coach. No, you need a coach. You don't care if it's offensive-minded or defensive-minded. You need a coach. And we had that. We had the guy that was a coach. Man, and people can be mad at me bringing up Steve Wilkes, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. Because he was that coach. Because look at last year. The stars that we had was probably DJ Moore and Brian Burns. We had a bunch of other guys. And he did. And it he went 6-6. He made them look good. He had a bunch of other guys, and you made Sam Darnold look something. But not so. We play games to win. PJ Walker, we play the games to win. The offense looks something to be looked forward. Man, this thing is trash, man. And it's just funny. But the Carolina Panthers, all the Carolina Panthers fans need to be blamed. A lot of them. I'll say 75% of them.
This is interesting. I just ran across this in one of the C3 Twitter DM groups. Guy Fred McGee posted this. He said, and he added the Panthers. He said, Panther Pickle put this up. The Panthers franchise has completely killed my fandom. I'm a PSL owner and didn't attend the game. I didn't sell the tickets, just didn't go. I prefer taking a financial loss than watch this team. I needed a mental break from this horrible organization. I'm done. I hate that I'm done phrase and I know our fans have used it, and people on the show have used it. And I mean, it's not that I hate them for using it. I refrain from saying that.
Right.
Because I know that I'm going to cheer. I know I'm going to watch, even if it's begrudgingly. I know I'm going to do the podcast because I've invested so much of it and so much part of my friendships and identity. But I get what people are saying when they're like, and that's not what they're saying. I don't think he's going to stop being a fan. It's just like, I'm done. This sucks, dude. This fucking sucks. And we give so much, and there's like zero return right now. And it is, it's getting along.
Unless, of course, you're Mr. Strats, who not only donated $5, but then gifted another 20 memberships.
70 memberships in
the channel. Bro, Strats, you are the homie of all homies, brother. We appreciate you. Just fans appreciate you. And to read your comment, he says, everyone keeps forgetting to mention Derek Brown, and it's insulting to him. He always plays well and dominates. He needs his fair share of appreciation. 100%, man. Derek Brown has been that monster in the middle. And now, to me, with Derek Brown, it does seem to me like he is a name that would pop more on other teams if he did have some better cast and crew around him. But yeah, Derek Brown's been one of the few consistent pieces on our defensive line. And he's done a great job. Strats, you're the man, bro. We appreciate you, dude.
Yes, thank you very much. I thought about this today, and I mean, I'm not. I don't really get angry at the Panthers anymore. I don't expect it to be good. I walked in the house today and I said something about, well, it's better than watching that crap. And my wife goes, oh, they're losing. I said, we got to do this 7 more times this season. Is that, and I could have said that 4 weeks ago. It's bad, dude. And what now it's collectively bad is not only is this season just so freaking crappy, it's on a run of crappiness. It's been 6 years since the Panthers gave us anything to be excited for. And I want to be even more excited about Bryce right now than I am. Because here is what in those years where we were bad in the past, say, maybe not last year, because I thought Matt Rule was the worst. I didn't know I still can't believe that it can be worse. That's the fucking real thing that's driving me nuts. Is like, good God, you went on the worst day of your life, and then you went and you picked the person that you thought can't be worse than the worst day, and she turned out to be a fucking psychopathic murderer. But I don't know what to like pin some hope on. I feel like I felt like in some of those bad seasons, you got to say, well, you know what? Cam was hurt. So we can, we'll get Cam back and maybe we'll do this. We say, you could say something like this. It just always felt like there was one thing to say, that's what do we build on? It's going to have to be Bryce. It's got to be Bryce, but
you see how now, like, look, people want to call us Bryce Young haters. I'm certainly not a Bryce Young hater. I think I'm a realist. I think Greg is too. But now, if you are one of these fucking haters who was originally one of those people that was like, Bryce is too small, Bryce is hurt, Bryce is this, Bryce is that. Now you are giving these people all the ammunition that they will ever need because of this season and because of how Bryce is looking right now. And by the way, you better pray he doesn't get hurt, because then that's just another round of ammunition that the Bryce haters are going to use and saying, oh, see, told you, couldn't make it through an NFL season, and they'll take that and they'll run with that shit to the bank. Y'all think that we're haters? Nah, son, you ain't seen Bryce Young hate. You ain't seen Bryce Young hate. Let it get a little bit worse, and then tell me what Bryce Young haters sound like. Because they're going to be all up in our cat calls. They're going to be all up in our fucking chat. They're already all over Twitter. It's like you're giving them the more and more ammunition that they need the longer you let Bryce stranded out there to his own devices, man. He has no help. Even when he does, he's missing wide open wide receivers. The offensive line is terrible. It's time to save our quarterback for the future. If he is indeed the only thing that this organization has to build on for the foreseeable future. It's bad, Greg.
Yeah, it's absolutely terrible, man. The team is in an absolutely terrible position, and here's my kind of thing is like I think that we should move forward with Bryce Young because I don't think Bryce Young's been given a fair chance to show what kind of a guy he is.
Oh, and we don't have a choice.
I still don't think that he may have been the best choice for us to pick in this situation, though. Even if we can move forward and give him what he wants, and that's my issue is I don't think that we're going to be able to give him what he needs to succeed, and I don't think he's that quarterback that can take a mop bucket and a handful of needles to a championship and win. Like I just don't think he's that kind of guy. And that was the guy that I thought we were drafting for. I thought we would have traded up for. Now I'm not trying to knock Bryce Young or say he's a bad guy. I don't think Carolina's going to put around him what he needs. I think
the question is, can they? Is going to be the next question. This is awesome. I love the internet and I love Panther fans. And big shout out to @OnTheBlock01 on Twitter or X. His name is Ryan Not Reynolds. And I read that tweet from the guy who was the PSL to the Panthers, the Fred McGee @FredMcGee. And I quote retweeted it and I put "We Are Fred" #We Are Fred. And @OnTheBlock01 messaged me and he put #We Are Fred up. So he took the hashtag "We Are Fred." Oh, we gotta get this going. We are Fred up. #We Are Fred up, folks. I love it. It made me giggle. Let's go to my bastard son.
Yo, it's White Chocolate Espresso. Wow. Thank God I'm at work. I got a couple things to say. The Bears fleeced us. They're getting the first round pick and they're getting another top 10 pick. It's probably one of the best trades they've ever made. Period. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how well Bryce does or CJ does. They're getting the number 1 pick. They won the draft. They won the trade. It's over. We had this discussion in the chat room. It annoys the piss out of me. People saying, "Oh, it's coaching for all these penalties." I'm sorry. What exactly does Frank Wright and Evero have to do with you hitting the quarterback that's already down in the helmet? He's already down. Why are you hitting him? What does that do with coaching? It has nothing to do with coaching.
No discipline.
You're making a dumb decision and it's dirty. Same thing with the call where the play was over and he hit him in the back. Both plays automatic first down when it been a turnover. How is that? I want to get rid of Frank Wright as much as the next guy, but I'm not going to blame him for a player making a dumb decision. That's on the player. It's so annoying. Bryce needs one more pick six to tie the franchise record. It's not good. It's not. Offensive line was horrible. Why we cut Brock Sermon, I still don't understand it. Still, but those are my thoughts. Drink up, Panther Nation. Peace.
All right, thanks. Read these super chats up, my man.
Yeah, man. Mr. Elevation with the $5 says, what's the rookie record for a quarterback throwing pick sixes? Now, it sounded weird on the broadcast, but after the game was over, I heard them say that 4 was like close to it was either the most or close to the most for the most pick sixes thrown by a quarterback in a season. That's what I thought they said. It sounded wild to me, but they said, I believe it's 4.
Somebody said 9 in the chat.
I mean, Jameis Winston threw 30 interceptions.
It was Jameis that has the record, they said.
Yeah, I would find it hard to believe at least 4 of those weren't pick sixes.
Well, but what we're talking about is, just the pick sixes.
No, I think
Right,
they said
right.
Jameis
Yeah,
has the record for pick sixes, too.
Okay.
Well,
It's likely. It's
Illinois
very likely.
Jones says that we're tied for the most.
Yeah.
Tied for the most.
I mean, look, for y'all, beyond the actual point difference, does a pick six mean something different to y'all than just an interception? Like, because for me, I feel like most pick sixes, and of course, not all are created equally. I feel like most pick sixes generally tend to be mostly on the quarterback because you're putting the defensive back in a position where they have a chance to run the ball back. They're either running at full speed or they're jumping a route. Like I said, it's not always like that, but I feel like pick sixes maybe weigh a little more heavily than just regular interceptions. Does that feel any different for y'all?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. And then Leonard says 4 interceptions or 4 pick sixes thrown by the same player. I don't know. It wasn't the no, it couldn't be because it was
we got 1 in this game.
Yeah, he only got 1 in this game. So
he said 2 in one game, 2 in another game, and then 1 in this game as far as pick sixes.
Yeah, he's had 4.
So
that player's had 4. The guy this season, he's got it because I heard them say it on the broadcast that he's got as many pick sixes.
Oh, so they were saying that player had the most pick sixes
of the season
ever in the season,
or for a rookie ever for maybe. You know,
no, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just
all I know is they said something about 4 pick sixes and it being a single season record.
Okay.
I assumed they were talking about Bryce throwing that many pick sixes, but
they might have been talking about the DB.
Yeah, maybe the DB. I'm not even sure, but
he's thrown a lot. Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next
ball. Dude, he's given the ball. There are now 3 or 4 games in a row that we can say that Bryce's turnovers is what won them the game, or the opposite team.
The direct reason that caused the win. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next call.
What's up, C3? This is Raleigh Lee.
What's up,
Talking
Raleigh?
about a shit show. We're looking like we might get somewhere. I'm not going to blame it on the quarterback as far as that one interception for 6 points. Mingo should have came up and bumped the guy. But regardless, Frank Wright should take responsibility. He should have basically, instead of covered his ass, he should have resigned. We need to get David Tepper out of the office, he's not the GM. If he wants to be the GM, have his wife be the GM. She's a hell of a lot smarter than he is. But anyways, yeah, disappointing game, disappointing day, as usual. My God, how many years do we have to go through this? I'll talk to you guys later. Keep pounding, and Greg, stay out of the pudding.
All right, stay out of the pudding, Greg.
I'll try.
And hey, hang on real quick. TJ, my apologies, bro. TJ with the $5 said, sad they put up the same Hall of Fame quarterback graphic every week as if they were the only rookies who sucked. To be honest,
exactly.
It's the only positive they can think of for Bryce. 100%, dude. Like, that's the only thing that anyone has to fall back on, man.
Mm-hmm.
I get mad about that. I get that's a great comment. I felt the same way too. Like, because remember after the 3-pick game, when was the 3-pick game? 2 games ago, or was it last week?
Was it picking a fumble?
No, he had 3 interceptions.
Oh yeah, no, that was against
Indy.
The Colts.
I don't even know. Who did we play last? Oh, the Bears. We played the Bears. All right, so it was 2 games ago. And a lot of the I was getting tweets or callers, and they were like, some people were saying because he threw 3 picks in a game that like he was a bust, right? So they're like, and I don't have a problem is like throwing 3 picks in a game to me is not any indication. It's a bad game, right? It's like certainly it's not a thing to be happy about. It's not a thing to find a silver lining in. I'm not going to make a judgment on just interceptions alone on some different things. But then, so people were saying that, so they would make these lists of players who had also thrown 3 picks in a game. And it was like John Elway, this and that. And I was like, if we really want to make this fucking list, though, we could list all the bad players too that have thrown 3 picks. You can't just be like, hey, well, look at all these other great players.
Yeah,
It's like, hey, guess what? There's another guy that Joe Rosen, he had 3 picks in a game.
Dude, it really does feel like insulting. Well, yeah, here's all these other really good quarterbacks that went through the doldrums in their first year. Dude, okay, well, what if he right now there's no evidence that he's going to become anything more? Maybe he does, but again, it's like all he's doing right now is playing bad on a bad football team. And you're like, well, don't worry, guys. Maybe one day he'll be Peyton Manning and John Elway. It's like
TJ says this. TJ in the chat, he says this. There should be more positive things to say about Bryce.
There should be. There really should.
And I think that is a fair comment for Bryce's performance this year. I would say that I feel that way too about any number 1 draft pick. Right? Is like, I would just say this is that I shouldn't be this undecided about how I feel about them, because I feel like I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt regardless. So I'm kind of like, I'm playing it like, I'm just neutral almost. But I feel that way about this team just in every capacity, is that there just shouldn't be this bad. That's the problem that I have. I don't even have the problem. I don't think it's a record problem. I think there's a different, I think losing the way you lose can matter.
Yeah.
Right. So like if you go and you fight hard, tooth and nail it down to the end and lose by a field goal, isn't that different than getting curb stomped?
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, at the end of the day, not every loss is equal. And right now, this has just been a snowball. It's exponentially getting worse to where I don't see positives to build on. Like, that's what I wanted to see. Look, when I saw Matt Rule in his first season, guys, I said I just wanted him to show us that he wasn't in over his head. And the Panthers came out and won 5 games that year and looked competent in a lot of capacity, in a lot of ways. They looked like, hey, man, if we can turn 5 into 7, 7 into 9, right? And then the next year, it was so bad, I was like, oh, that was just kind of beginner's luck, it turns out. I just wanted the Panthers to show us growth. We sat here and had trouble picking less than 7 games to win on the season because we said, hey, the Panthers won 7 games with Matt Rule and Steve Wilkes as their coach. We've got to be able to be as good as that. Oh, that's what sucks about this shit. Let me hear. I'm gonna play this call. I need you to cover me, Cody. I got my daughter's bugging me about the food in the oven that my wife set a timer on and then left.
Got you.
Hey, what's up, C3 Nation? This is Slim Jim coming out of San Diego, California, man. Just touching in and trying to talk about some Carolina Panthers football on a positive note, but it's really hard to do. You can't really talk about the Panthers on a positive note, man. We are, you know what? We got the Carolina Blues. We have the Carolina Blues. I've never seen this team struggle so much. I've never seen this team be so down. this is the worst I've seen it. I mean, honestly, goddamn, Matt Rule was bad, but this is worse than that, bro. But anyway, I just wanted to talk in and chime in on what I feel about the Panthers going forward, man. I don't think they'll fire Frank Reich. I don't think it makes sense to fire him now. The ship is bad, but I think he's still gonna be the captain of that ship. And I think David Tepper is never gonna admit that he was wrong with the CJ Stroud versus Bryce Young pick, because to me it sounded like CJ Stroud was a sure pick for us, and David Tepper said, "Nah, we ain't doing that. We're going Bryce Young." But he'll never admit that he was wrong with that. I don't think he's gonna admit that. So I think that's why Frank Reich is going to be with the team until next year. They'll probably give him a couple of years, and if next year is bad, then he's going to learn. He's going to be in a bad position. But, man, I tell you what, man, as a Panthers fan, bro, this is the worst. This is the worst I've seen our team in so long. There's no identity. There's no like competitive edge. We don't have anything to offer on offense or defense. All of our guys are shadows. They're shadows to the rest of the players in the NFL. And we're just a bad team, man. And it sucks because, goddamn, we watch this, man. We can't even compete, bro. Every game is, like, non-competitive, and it sucks. And me personally, as a CJ Stroud fan, man, it hurts even worse because I'm like, dog, that was the sure pick. We should have had Stroud over Bryce Young. Now we got a mini-me quarterback running around trying his best, and he can't do shit. He can't do shit. And it's like, no shit, you can't do anything in the NFL like that. You can't do anything in the NFL if you're under 6 feet. You don't deserve to be in the NFL. And that's nothing against Bryce Young, man, but it's just what it is. Like, you're not going to succeed when you have better athletes around you in every position.
Right.
And you can't, and when you don't play top part of your position, it just shows out that the fact is, man, you're under 6 feet tall, bro. Like you're not it. You're not cut out for this game. And then you look at CJ Stroud, and that guy looks like everything we wanted Bryce Young to be. CJ Stroud is everything.
Go ahead and respond. He's got I think he's got another one.
At this point, man, look, obviously we're going to need 2 or 3 years before we can really write the story of if Bryce Young is a good quarterback or not. But you would be crazy to not think that CJ Stroud is the better of the 2 quarterbacks.
Right.
Like you're just flat out of your mind. And it doesn't make you a bad Panther fan to say yet again the Panthers made a mistake picking their quarterback. Now that's how I feel right now. And hopefully y'all get to come at me and tell me how wrong I was in a couple of years and blah blah blah. But I mean, even still, Tua Tagovailoa is looking better as a quarterback than what he did a few years ago. But I still wouldn't take him over Justin Herbert, and that's going to be true for me probably in the next 2 or 3 years too. So
yeah, no, I totally agree, man. It's always going to be because the 2 were drafted so like that. It's always going to be a battle back and forth between CJ Stroud and Bryce Young. And don't be wrong, I think that if CJ Stroud would have came here, he would struggle here too because we have a shitty team, a shitty offensive line. I just feel like he would do better than Bryce, not insanely better. I think that he would do better than Bryce Young has done right now. I mean, look at the people talk about how he has weapons at wide receivers, but who was talking about Robert Woods and Noah Brown and Nico Collins being elite wide receivers last year? And now when you look at the start 'em, sit 'em for every week in fantasy, it's always start whoever's the wide receivers for Houston, start 'em because they have a quarterback that can play with any wide receiver and make them look good. And that's what I expected. So that's like I said, I don't by any means think that if we had Stroud here, we would be in the position Houston's in.
What's going to be great is finally, this might have broken our optimism as fans.
Mm-hmm.
So finally, we might have an off season where we have a good draft. We get a good coach. We get good, like we anchor, and we're like, all right, ready for show it to me. Like now, no more just getting hype. I feel like this is going to end my getting hype. Like I'm gonna
for
need
anything that the Panthers ever do.
until it happens.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. And I
Get caught
felt
by
like
surprise. I'm cool with that.
yeah, exactly. Instead of expecting good, I'm gonna not be miserable, not forecast bad, but I'm not forecasting the market going up tomorrow.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. And like, and I think this, I don't know, man. We really I just bought in too much this year, like a unwise person. I just didn't think it would be this bad, dude. That's what it's really
There's
just
nothing wrong with being hopeful.
And then you know what happens, and it's so unfair, is then we get labeled as the podcast that's just old cynical assholes that are never optimistic about anything, that are always looking at the glass half empty as opposed to the glass half full. And it's like, dude, what are you gonna do, man? Like I've been saying for years, it's prove it season. It's prove it season. You're not getting any fucking flowers until you earn those flowers. And so far, no one earns anything on this team other than their walking papers.
I said at one point on the radio, I said I will not pick the Carolina Panthers to win a football game anymore this season until they actually win one. Sure. And then they went and I didn't pick you. I picked Houston over them on the radio, and they went and won one. And I was like, okay, well now I'll think about it in the future. I stupidly picked them for the Colts. And I guess I'm just saying this is I'm not picking the Panthers to be a good or have anything good until it is good. I'm not going to expect it to be bad when we draft these players. Whoever we draft, I'm not going to go, oh, they suck. But I'm not going to fucking be like, oh man, we got the fucking star of the draft.
Right.
I'm sorry, but nope. I'm going to be like this. We got a player. And if we turn out to be the podcast, if they call us the half full podcast, I'm going to say this. I don't care. I don't know if the glass is half full or half empty. I want to know what the fuck's in the glass before I'm drinking it. I don't care.
This a victory. I'm calling this a victory, Tony, because you're on the exact same hill that I'm on right there, man. That's the exact same thing I've been saying.
And then you know what? And then we're going to fucking hire a coach. I'm going to be like, oh my God, he's a fucking great coach. He's got another call.
Hey, what up, C3 Nation? It's Slim Jim again, calling from San Diego, California. I just wanted to double up on my first call because I think I got cut off. But just in regards to if we do indeed fire Frank Wright, who the hell's gonna come to Carolina, bro? It would be something if Harbaugh came, but can you imagine the relationship with Harbaugh and Tepper? That would never work. None of those guys.
Maybe
Harbaugh
that's what we need.
You would tell them to get the fuck out of the office.
Maybe that's what we
need. Those guys are all about like, let's all make a decision together. Harbaugh would say, fuck that shit. That shit would never work. Like, who would come to Carolina? There's no coach that sees Carolina Panthers as a good opportunity to go and succeed. When you have David Tepper on your shit and you have the GM making dumbass fucking fumble decisions, what are you gonna do as a coach? The string is very short, and you have to go out there and try to fucking produce, but you can't produce because there's too many goddamn hands in the kitchen. There's too many cooks in the kitchen, dog. And Carolina's shot, bro. We're not in the position to even fire our coach. We just have to struggle with it. We can't do anything about it. No one's gonna come to Carolina and say, I got an opportunity to try to win and turn this franchise around. There's no one. No one in the NFL is going to come and do that. We are dead last, bottom tier, and David Tepper needs to look in the fucking mirror and say, you know what? This ain't for me. I can't be running a fucking football team like I run my company. Like, yeah, you have to assess your company's dog, but you got to look in the mirror and say, hey, man, I got to step back. This ain't, I can't bring any kind of positive influence to this team doing what I'm doing now. And until David Tepper does that, we are in trouble, fellas. We are in trouble. We're going to be struggling until David Tepper realizes he needs to step the fuck back, let the coaches and GM do what they do. And they need to get a new GM. Yeah, bro. They need a new GM. We got to get this shit figured out, but it starts with David Tepper, man. All right, peace, man. Love the show.
This is bizarre. 12 hours ago, Jonathan Jones, covers the Panthers closely because he was from North Carolina, went to Carolina, and then worked for the Charlotte Observer. Jonathan Jones wrote 12 hours ago, the Panthers know they have to build around Bryce Young with 1 win and 2 changes of play callers. Carolina is looking for a spark as soon as possible. Josh Norris quote retweets this at 8:28 a.m. this morning with a line from this article that he highlights. He's quoting the article. Some sharks are out here wanting this job. One league.
I'm glad you brought this up.
One league source. Well, name yourself, motherfucker. Tell me who you are so we can get you on the fucking show and tell us why. Why the Sharks want this job? Because I can't name a reason right now that this would be a great play. I mean, it looks like hope. Maybe it doesn't take as long to turn things around. Sure feels like it though.
I mean, yeah, but let's speculate. Who are the Sharks that are interested in this job? A lot of people. I saw somebody put online that Ben Johnson, for the offensive coordinator for the Lions, that it's not that he turned us down. It was more so that he felt like the Lions were going to have a good team this year. I believe he's from the area, and he wanted to go back and be a part of what that team was going to do. And I believe they won today. So a lot of people think that it could be him. Obviously, another big name that a lot of people are wishing and hoping for is Jim Harbaugh, who's currently going through some trying times up there at Michigan. But I know that's a name that Panther fans keep on mentioning when it comes to coaches. And then there was even a sneaky little rumor that Bill Belichick is out of New England and that he wants
I
to
don't
go
want Bill
somewhere.
Belichick here.
I'm just telling you what I've heard to the tea leaves, brother. I'm not endorsing anyone right now.
I would have loved Bill Belichick as my coach with the 2016 Panthers or with the defensive Panthers that we had. But Bill Belichick is a full no.
Yeah, no, I agree.
He's one of the oldest coaches in the NFL.
Yeah,
too.
and I think he's the greatest coach in my life. You know what I'm saying? That we've seen in the last 20 years. I don't take anything away from him, but I don't think that Bill Belichick fixes anything here.
So what names do you think this is? And
Who are the
you
Sharks?
hoping that
It's
is?
bullshit. Whatever the fuck this is just made up words.
So there's nobody that's eyeing Carolina.
Like what the Shark? So that's like a betting term for people that are wiser than the public, than the betting public. So the betting sharks are the ones who, while the betting people go wherever, they're like, oh, well, we bet on this because we know both, they bet just because they know names and a little bit. The sharks, it's like the sharp money on these things. What he's like saying this is that there's people on insiders in the NFL who believe that this is better gig than most people from the outside think. And I call bullshit.
I agree. We talk about how we say, well, no quarterback could survive on this team. I don't think, or make this team succeed. I don't think any coach can make this team succeed.
I mean, I think there's going to be a coach one day that brings us out of the abyss, right? So the Panthers will not be bad forever.
Right. I mean,
I just think you're going to have to get somebody who is turns out to be better than you expect them to be. I don't think anybody who has like leverage in anything is going to be why would like you guys said about free agents? I think there's an opportunity out here. Look, is some coordinator, somebody that it's a foot in the door. And I tell you this is I know that people say, why would you take this job? Well, I'll tell you why you should take the job, because guess what Joe Brady's doing right now? After year one, Joe Brady was getting damn head coaching interviews, and he became a quarterback's coach. So take it while it's there. Take the fucking money, give it your best shot, and hopefully it works. And if it doesn't, you'll be a coordinator.
Well, and right now the Bills are up on the Jets with Joe Brady as the offensive coordinator.
Yeah. All right. Next call.
Hey guys, it's the girl that makes them howl, aka Joey the Blind Panther. I knew this shit was coming. This game is indicative of the whole Carolina Panthers season. We can't do shit. You know, we all knew that. And I knew the Cowboys were going to come to town and beat us and be obnoxious and all that other shit. And luckily, I didn't go to this game today. I almost did, but I didn't. So, at least that was smart on my part. But guys, it was so bad that at halftime, we kept giving these fucking Cowboys the touchdown. We gave them a touchdown. We moved the ball for the Dallas Cowboys because of all our dumb penalties. And they scored a touchdown off of that. So, you know, that has to stop. And who's that on? Oh, coaching. Oh, you know, our all-star coaching staff that has 11 Super Bowl rings in between them. Well, where the hell are they? Flushed down the toilet? They might as well be the way they've been coaching. Except for Evero and Chris Tabor. Chris Tabor has his special teams playing, and Evero, despite having, you know, players that just aren't good and definitely aren't the right fit for the defensive scheme, the 3-4. I mean, he does have those guys playing. I mean, you know, you can't say he does it. Excuse me, but this is how this damn game made me feel. It was so bad I went for a walk on the greenway at halftime. It was bad, and it was a real nice day outside, but we've got to be better. Tepper has to get rid of Scott Fitter, even though he's the one that's going to pick the GM, and he only picks, you know, pussies, yes men. People, you know, he don't pick real men. That's why no elite GM is going to come here, because those are real men, and they don't take Tepper's bullshit. But aside from that, yep, same shit, different day. That's all I gotta say. And our O-line sucks a huge one. Our O-line sucks an entire male reproductive system. I mean, it's how bad can you get? Anyway, guys.
Very PG. I like it.
Wow. Hey, by the way, just so I don't forget, Nirvash donated $5 earlier. He said Jameis Winston had the record with 7 pick sixes thrown by a quarterback in 2019.
Bryce has still got a shot.
Next
You're telling me there's a chance?
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Promiscuous Panda.
What's up, Panda?
Almost, this is actually my first call I've ever actually called. I would be regular, but honestly, it's a long distance call, so yeah, you know, you guys have to understand.
I appreciate you, Panda.
From Mexico. First and foremost,
from Mexico.
Tony, Greg, Pat Daddy, and of course, my guy, Cody Leck. You guys run the best podcast I've seen, you know, and heard, and here on the regular. But I'm just gonna get to it, man. I'm absolutely fucking tired of this team. I'm tired of this team because it just seems like we're in this we're like in a conundrum. We're just going around in circles. We're like a dog chasing our tail, and it's annoying and it's frustrating and really it's tiresome because you see the same shit happening over and over and over again. And to be honest, the common denominator here is David Tepper. Unfortunately, we can't do shit about that. David Tepper has to figure this shit out. He has to literally hire the right people and let them do their job. That's it. It's that simple.
That's it.
I could go
He's
on
right.
and on and on about all the stuff, and I'm not here to pick favorites or anything like that. Bryce has looked good. Bryce has looked bad. The O-line has looked good. The O-line has looked bad. There's, you know, injuries upon injuries upon injuries. The only constant has been special teams, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. We have no first-round pick, so there's no, you know, light at the end of the tunnel until the other year, 2025. And nobody's going to come and work for this guy because he has no patience. He literally has no fucking patience. And that to me is just the biggest problem here, the biggest red flag here. He treats this team like it's a hedge fund account or some shit. And really, it's just, he needs to step back and look in the mirror and find out that he literally is the problem. Anyway, guys, I'm not going to take any more of your time. Love the show. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button, guys. And keep motherfucking pounding, guys. See you guys.
Keep motherfucking pounding. Panda, I appreciate you, bro. I see you all the time in the chat room and on Twitter, man.
We're worldwide. Worldwide.
International. That's right.
Viva Promiscuous Panther. And this is what we'd love for you to continue to be a part of the calls in a way for our international callers to circumvent those charges is to record it on your phone on an audio app or something like that, and then email it to me as an attachment at Carolina Cat Chronicles at gmail.com. But you got to hit me on Twitter with a message or something that says I sent you an email, because I don't always check it while I'm playing the calls. So sometimes, like somebody like Dexter Henderson would say, hey, I want to do this, and then I don't see it on Tuesday night because I only check so much stuff so frequently. So as long as you just make sure you give me a heads up on Twitter, I will then play that call or play that audio file in replacement of you having to pay $12 to call into our show.
Nice.
Yeah.
We really ought to start marketing this podcast as the longest running Panthers podcast in the galaxy, because I'm pretty sure that if we're the longest running Panthers podcast in the world,
yeah,
a pretty good chance we are in the galaxy as well.
Maybe just the
think
universe.
about that. We're the first to do something.
Yeah, it's the universe. There you go. It's a good chance.
Just think about this: is if you think about the way sound waves travel,
yeah,
any alien life form will will literally hear our podcast before they hear any other podcast, because the sound waves are traveling.
Yeah, they're traveling out into space,
and the Google algorithm will bring them straight to us.
Longer.
Yeah, man, dude.
It might take 9 million light years for it to happen, but
hey, dog,
they'll be like, "Oh fuck, the Carolina Panthers still suck."
Hey, dog, Hey, C3 Podcast is intergalactic out here, boy. What's up, man?
All right, next call.
Hi, you guys. It's Rude Life Master.
Oh, what up, bro?
Man, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I live here in Virginia, so I don't get to see the Panthers games. So I get to see the little highlights.
Congratulations.
I watch the C3 Panther Podcast for the result. And every time I see the highlights, we're trash. Yeah, we're trash. I see the little hashtag. We're fed up. Listen, yeah, somebody needs to get fired. This is getting ridiculous. If I said this last year, I said this last week, not last year. Although I did say we were gonna be trash last year. You know what I mean? I said this last week. If I'm Bryce Young, I'm asking to sit down for the rest of the year. I'm not about to get myself killed out here.
Yeah.
For nothing.
Take me out.
Nothing. Frank, he just looked like he aged 10 years in one season. Sit Bryce Young down, get Andy Dalton. Let's just start all over, the rebuild. I guess I could say trust the process, but I can't trust the process because I don't even know what direction the process is going. So, hey.
I know.
What's the hashtag? We fred up.
Yeah.
And,
we are fred up.
Keep pounding.
We are fred up. We are fred up, and that's a play on Fred McGee, who tweeted something. So I said we are Fred, and then someone put we are Fred up, which I love, which I want to get rolling. And I wonder how many people are going to see it and they'll be like, "Oh, he misspelled Fed." Yeah. Josh Klein from the Roaring Riot tweeted 27 minutes ago, probably going to hold off on the Riot Report newsletter until late in the morning. The question being is they generally put out a newsletter the following morning early to hit the email boxes of all of the Roaring Riot members. That kind of, I guess, gives game recap, and that's the way they're putting their analysis out more so than even their website podcast anymore. I feel like, I wonder if that indicates that he's holding off to see, because he thinks fired. Yeah, some changes are coming.
Possible. Yeah.
Hey, let's do this on the count of 3, and this goes for everyone in the chat too. Simply yes or no. Do you think somebody will be fired by this time tomorrow? And we're going to answer on the count of 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. No.
Really? We all went. I thought I was going to be the oddball.
I think for the reasons we've said about who do you replace them with and everything else, I don't think that anybody's gonna be fired. Look, once again, I'm not advocating for Frank Reich. I didn't want Frank Reich, but I still think that saying that he's the failure of this part is giving him too short of a leash, because he's going through the same problems of everybody else on the team that we're defending.
Oh, he will be fired, Greg. It's just not.
He will be, but I think it's just too short of a leash.
That gets the axe at some point. But I don't know. People are going to continue to say, oh, this is a lot like after the 49ers, where the 49ers took over the stadium last year.
But they ran away with it early, didn't they? Like, I felt like that felt. I mean, yeah, we never felt like we were in this game either. But
no, never at one point.
But
Greg, I feel the same way. As people like, oh, it's only a 1-score possession game at one point. It's like that one possession felt like me trying to sink a 60-yard putt.
At that point, we had scored 3 touchdowns, and I think the last 54 drives we've had, at no point did I feel comfortable saying that we were going to make a comeback. Yeah.
A lot of people in the chat room also answered no. So and listen, I kind of feel like it's a foregone conclusion. We know people are going to get fired.
Yeah.
Right. We know that is inevitable. It's just a matter now of when it happens. And that's why I'm asking, like, do we think that this is going to happen like tomorrow morning or tomorrow night? Like, what is the final straw? Are they going to give him the rest of the season, or is something going to happen tomorrow? And I feel like a lot of Panther fans are answering no, because they want us to fire him so bad, but the Panthers don't ever do anything that the fans want them to do. Right. So yeah, everybody's
Mr. Stratz, I think you got us confused a hair. He said, "How would you all feel if no one gets fired?" Oh, is he? Oh, no, maybe he's not getting. Okay, never mind. Sorry. Mr. Stratz, thank you for the $5. First of all, he says, how would you all feel if no one gets fired and we start the next season like that?
I'd feel like it's the Carolina Panthers move, to be honest with you. It sounds par for the course.
Yeah.
To be really honest.
No, I would.
It does.
I would say this is, I think in some way I can understand us bringing in a GM and him saying, I want a full year to figure out how I want to attack this entirely. And I want us to go out there and basically say this is, I would need, though, the only thing that would really, I mean, we need the new GM. If we go out there next year with Scott Fitter or Frank Reich and this stat, and then just run it back like from top to bottom, I would think that would be impossible. I don't think you can do that. I just don't know. Like, I don't see that. But what I could see a wise move in the background, even though it's harder for me to say this each week, is if I was a GM, I could see a world where I say this, look, we're firing Frank Reich. Don't worry. But it's just going to be, let's wait till the end of this season.
Yeah, I think that's more likely.
And then we're going to figure out more about Bryce in this season. And we're going to have more opportunities to start prepping the garden to plant the seeds for the next coach.
I like that.
But I don't think, but it would have to be that up front. It would have to be to the point of where you say this is it's not, if we're in the playoff hunt, we still firing Frank, right? Like we are firing him if he goes 10-6.
Yeah.
Almost like that's what it would be. Will Horsley, thank you. Another angel investor of the podcast with a great gift. Gifted 10 C3 Panthers podcast membership. A C3 super fan is a way for you. Yep. C3 super fan for just $1.99 a month. You can support the podcast. You've seen a lot of people be over or very generous. Well, I want to say, we thank you. I'm appreciative of it, but they're more generous than I ever expected people to be in the super chats. Also, smash the thumbs up button, subscribe. But your real generosity comes with your time, your attention. As we continue to work through this, we got 7 more games where we're going to need your help. I'm telling you this is we're going to be here, and it's hard for me to get excited, but I tell you, not excited. Yeah, but look, it's not hard for me to do the podcast when we got such great people in the chat and the listeners. So
shout out to Will, who says best podcast out there. Love y'all and try your best to keep pounding. Go ahead, Greg.
Before we move on, quick question that I have, and there may be people in the chat that have the same question because I'm very, very computer illiterate with certain things. When somebody gives 10 memberships, does that mean they are becoming a member for 10 months? Or they're giving 10 other people a membership? Okay.
Yeah, 10 other people.
I think it randomly selects 10 people in the chat right now who are not members and makes them members.
Wow,
so they get the benefits of the emojis. They get the benefits of any early content we would put out. They get the benefits of being in the Mega Mingo drawing, which we're going to have to we're going to have to find out like what the like a bad version of bingo is. Like a negative Mingo version.
Oh, that's a great idea, Tone. Dude, we would hit that so fast, bro.
Oh, okay.
We need to do that.
Oh, all right. That's what we'll start lining that up, guys. The chat can help us. We're gonna make a bad bingo card for the Panthers. Bad bingo card. So it'd be like
pick six,
like
fumble.
pick six.
Yeah, stuff like that. Dude, we'll probably hit that before we hit the Mingo card, and we've had the Mingo card.
No, we hit the Mingo card. We hit it.
Okay.
We gave it away because guess what got it? Not a Mingo touchdown. Special teams touchdown.
That's right.
That punt return. All right.
And the chat room likes it. They want it.
All right. We're doing it. We're doing it. Last call of the night.
Yeah. This is Panther Pickle. I just wanted to say something.
Pickle, what's up, brother?
Jerry Rivero screamed at the 3rd round rookie DJ Johnson for a mistake that Johnson did. And he's the defensive coordinator. Now, normally I'd be all in for that because that's what we need. I think that's what we need, a little bit more screaming on sidelines. But did he scream at the 6-year vet Deshaun Williams for screwing up and costing us a 15-yard penalty? No. Did he scream at the 2-year vet Imaro Barno for costing us a 15-yard penalty? No. And he's going to scream at a 3rd round rookie? What a pathetic excuse of a man Jerry Rivero is. If you can't scream at everybody when they screw up, don't scream at nobody. Because this makes you look like a shitty person. Because the rookie, he's a rookie. He's going to screw up. You know, this reminds me of something I said on Twitter today is, you know, people should hold a 1st round pick to more stricter standards than they do a 2nd to 7th round pick. Because the 1st round pick is supposed to be the best of all the rookie classes. But apparently not, because now when the 1st round rookie screws up, we're all just going to pat him on the back and tell him it'll be all right. But when a 2nd to 7th round rookie screw up, we're going to rip them a new one. The NFL has become pretty damn pathetic. But y'all have a great day.
Mr. Stratz he's saying, Pickle, do we know that he didn't get on him? Is he Yeah, is he like, did he do it maybe in the locker room? So there, could possibly be, but visually, dressing down the rookie for a mistake. Look, his Everest clearly was getting frustrated towards the end too. And you can see why. Mr. Stratz also with one of my favorite comments of the night when it comes to the bad Mingo. He said that's awesome. It's such a deranged way to play it.
Yeah.
But here, you know what would be really fucked up?
It gives y'all a better chance of winning something.
No. Yeah. Well, totally. That's why everybody's already interested in this. But the really fucked up thing is when we hit the Mega Mingo, Greg, we decided not to give away a Jonathan Mingo jersey because we let them choose to get a better jersey since he hadn't been necessarily any good. What if the what if we actually made it a Mingo jersey?
Right.
Well, what jersey they
pick? You have
take
to take
that
the Mingo jersey.
Frank Wright. They got a Bryce Young.
Yeah,
because
okay.
I mean, you can't because
No,
the
why
other
not? He's going to be here for a couple more years.
yes, that's the problem is Luvu is the number 1 pick, but he's probably not going to be a Panther because he's free agent.
Yeah,
So,
that's a good point.
All right, look, David Dotto Balls Out Award.
I don't get one.
You do?
I don't.
Oh, you don't. I was about to say you don't.
No.
You know what is? Let me see. Where is old David? You know what? His balls are better than anything that Panthers did today.
We know how much you love David Dotto's balls.
And towel of shame.
Oh, I got one of those.
You want me to hit the little 10
if
second
you want, I
that
mean,
we might as well do shit. Let's have fun.
There you go.
This is the point where we give the towel of shame. I feel bad even having anything negative ever associated with this podcast and Cam after last 6 years of this. You know what I'm saying? It's because Cam.
I can make a new bumper. Get rid of Cam.
I love you. I miss you,
Why
Cam.
not get rid of Cam?
I miss you. I miss
That's why
you.
I'm so mad.
Oh,
at
what about
Tony
this? It's like
taking away dab on him for David Dotto's fucking.
Those
ball
Cam
sack.
times are the only thing keeping me a Panthers fan right now, to be honest with you, is remembering those times.
What about man, I wish he was a Brown. Why didn't the Browns go get him? Somebody was putting that out there. You said that, Cody. You were like, I wouldn't want this to happen. I'd love
Yeah,
this.
man. I thought
Yeah.
that would be dope. The Browns have the best defense in the NFL.
What are we, I guess the question is, it's kind of like
Shame on you, Lorne Michaels. Shame on you, NBC. Shame on you.
who are we going to shame with this towel of shame?
Oh, I got one.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna shame the announcers, and I'm gonna try to work on killing this narrative.
Wasn't Greg Olson one of the announcers?
Yeah, and then I'm not sure who it was, but I'm just gonna say for one thing they said, and I'm so tired of hearing this, is they spent a little bit of time after Bryce threw a pick talking about how much dog he has in him and what a great leader he is, and they go to him on the sideline. And he's giving all these offensive linemen this dish rag handshake with no emotion, nothing said, just walk by like you give in Little League when you play another team and then afterwards you all walk by each other and give each other a high five and say good game. It was like that, and it's like this guy has no dog in him. He has no leader. I want a guy who's going to be out there yelling at his offensive line when they let him get blown up. Like, it's bullshit, man. Reach down and grab your balls, dude. Have a little dog. And I'm tired of people with this narrative of he's a great leader and no, man. He's a yes man. He's a likable guy. He's not a great leader. He's not showing that from anything I've seen all season. So I'm just tired of people saying that. When the announcer said that and then showed him just with this dish rag handshake walking by people, it's like, come on, man. You're just pushing a narrative that there's no way you believe. So I'm giving that the towel of shame. I don't even know who announced today, but they get it.
Greg Olson, and I forget the other dude's name.
Yeah, sorry.
So Greg did this thing where Bryce missed. He had 2 bad throws, and Greg put it on Bryce. He said those were 2 bad throws. He even mentioned how Tommy Tremble is wide open on that 1 pick six. At the end of the of the game, he went on to say that this year it's impossible to evaluate Bryce due to the situation that he's in. So
to fully evaluate, yes, I agree.
Yeah. My towel of shame. How about this? I'm gonna give it to Brian Burns.
Dunk.
Because yet again, dunk on demand. Yeah, he's 100% got a towel of shame. But Brian Burns, again, we had 0 sacks today, y'all, and Brian Burns was back, and we didn't get any sacks last week. And again, man, it's like no one like he's supposed to be the guy, and there are moments when he's disappearing in football games. So, towel of shame.
My towel of shame just goes to the Carolina Panthers. The entire Carolina Panthers, from every player on that team, every coach on team on that team, the owner, anybody that's in that running their media, social media, y'all motherfuckers should be coming in to getting us. Come get us, man. You got 600 views on your YouTube video. That's how bad it is. Carolina Panthers, shame on you. Shame on you for making this what I got to do and what I'm going to keep doing. That's it. That's the C3 Panthers post-game show. We'll be here Tuesday night, live at 9 p.m. We're going to need to get some guests and start mixing some things up at this point. Probably need to start looking about getting ahead of the curve on some GM things and starting to think about those, as well as, hey, keep an eye out for, I guess, any live, reaction shows we got in case there's any breaking news. Guys, I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I will be here for the show on Tuesday, but I won't be in this room. I'll be on location somewhere.
Remote.
Yeah, remote. Thank you. And I'm going to bring all my shit with me and make my family mad, probably in their own way. I'm still going to go hang out with my friends. Fuck y'all. And talk about them. Like, why you want to talk about the Panthers? That's it. So, look, I love you guys. Cody Lack, great hanging out with you. Greg, fantastic.
Yeah, man.
You and everybody in the chat, listen on iTunes, TuneIn, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Thank you so much for your time, your energy. Your copays are accepted because your therapy is my therapy. Cody Lack, take us out of here.
C3 Nation, until next time, keep pounding.